Am I the asshole for kicking my boyfriend's girl best friend out of my Halloween party because of her costume?
Okay.
All right, interesting.
I hope there's pics.
Hi, everyone. I'll cut to the chase. I, a 19-year-old woman, had a Halloween party over the weekend. I invited my boyfriend, who's 21, and a bunch of our friends over, including his girl best friend. I will call her Agatha. My boyfriend and I had decided to dress up as Peter Pumpkin Eater. If you haven't seen the costume, the guy wears a shirt that says Peter, and the girl dresses as a pumpkin because, well, you know.
Oh, wow, okay.
I was pretty excited just because I thought it was funny and a cute costume. Agatha texted me the night before the party and asked what my costume was going to be. I explained the couple's costume my boyfriend and I would be wearing, and she replied that she would probably just come as a sexy cat. Fast forward to the night of the party, everyone is having fun and it's a nice time. Well, it was until Agatha walked in dressed as a pumpkin. She went over and hugged my boyfriend.
Whoa! Okay, sorry.
I swear the room went silent. I was pissed. I asked if I could speak with her privately, and we went into my bedroom. I asked why she chose that costume since she knew the details of the joint costume between my boyfriend and I.
I'm sorry, they're in pumpkin costumes, by the way.
They're both in pumpkin.
A very serious conversation amongst pumpkins.
I was supposed to be the pumpkin!
Okay,
Can
sorry.
I talk to you in the patch? Can I talk to you in the patch?
Okay, sorry.
From one pumpkin to another.
She said she didn't see the big deal and thought it would be a better group costume. I told her I didn't think it was funny and I would prefer that she change. I offered her a witch costume that she could borrow for the night. She turned red and started to yell that I don't get to control what she wears. I told her that she was disrespecting my relationship by insinuating that my boyfriend and her have sex. She kept screaming about how it was funny and I needed to lighten up. I ended up asking her to leave. She stormed out of the house and I returned to the party. The mood had shifted and the night felt ruined. My boyfriend agrees that she crossed the line and is planning on cutting her off completely.
Whoa.
But a few of our friends are saying that I was being dramatic and I should have let her stay. I guess I'm just wondering, am I the asshole? I thought this was, by the title, I thought this was going to go a way different way.
Yeah.
I thought it was about to be like like, hey, don't wear something revealing. I don't like that. But that is interesting when you join in on someone's couple's costume without asking.
Right.
That's weird.
And it's only because you had insider knowledge.
Yes.
Right?
And then you also lied and said, I'm going to come as a sexy cat.
Yeah.
And you come as a
Yeah, and it's like, and the fact that that conversation could have gone so many ways, and this friend doubled down and then started screaming and yelling, and I think that the friends who think that OP overreacted don't know how this friend spoke to her.
Yeah.
I don't think the OP was overreacting. I think the friend was overreacting.
Yeah, I think the friends probably also must have not known the full story about how she had told her what she was dressing as and then she came as the same thing.
Yeah.
Also, like, the fact that the boyfriend was ready to cut this friend out, girl best friend is a high title from a boyfriend, you know?
Intense.
Yeah.
So clearly, like, there might have been some other stuff going on. Like, I wonder what he felt about the
That's
situation in
true.
general.
It does feel just very disrespectful to the girlfriend. Like, it just feels like a disrespectful move. And the insinuation of that costume, it's a little uncomfortable.
It's like as if like you and I did like a corpse bride and then someone else showed up as a bride as well, and knowing that.
It is weird. It's especially given the context of like not telling her, not like if you want to ask, but it's still just strange. I could never comprehend knowing someone's doing a couple's costume and being like, hey, can I join in on your couple's costume? I'd feel a little weird about
Especially
it.
if it's based on a sexual innuendo.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
no, it'd be different if like, I don't know, there's a lot of situations, if people were coming as like, oh, we're gonna be Teletubbies, and I'd be like, oh, can I join in and be another Teletubby?
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah.
This is like very specific to like, oh, a sexual, like romantic relationship type of joke.
Yeah.
The comments here, not the asshole. If he doesn't cut her off, you need to reevaluate your relationship. She obviously wants in his pants. Either he puts up with that, nope, or kicks her to the curb. Same goes for the friends calling you dramatic. How would they like it if it happened to them? OP said, he is planning on cutting her off completely. I was just a little hesitant, honestly, because this is the first time she's ever done something like this, and she has never shown interest before. But I'm leaving it up to him, and that will show how much he values our relationship. Someone else said, some girl best friends don't actually want the guy, but want to prove to themselves that they can get him if they want. She seems like one of those people. If she was yelling at you at your own party, then you were justified in asking her to leave. Friends should always respect their friends' relationships. Lastly, someone said, nope, not the asshole. She did this on purpose and was testing to see what she could get away with. She found out that she couldn't get away with anything. It's also their party.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a lot.
I agree. It feels like it was a test of control or ownership in some way. Not necessarily that she like wants to be with him, but in a sense, it's almost like he's mine. Let's see what happens when I throw in this wrench.
That seems pretty valid. I do think there's a lot of people out there like that, you know, who just live for that, like...
Just serving the ego.
Yeah.
Just wanting to prove to themselves. And it's weird because, like, I have seen group costumes where there's a couple and a friend joining in a thing.
Totally.
It's pre-discussed. Like, like if she wanted... If it was actually coming from a good place, that best friend would have asked, and she didn't.
Absolutely.
She lied.
No, there's a million scenarios where that's totally fine. But this is not one of them.
Yeah, and it's not like, oh, I had an extra pumpkin costume laying around.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, I'm
Very
going to buy one.
deliberate.
Yeah.
And going
Very
up and hugging the boyfriend and just like, it's just, like, I don't like the picture that's in my mind of all that.
Yeah, I imagine the slow motion turn looking directly at the
She
girlfriend. in the
twirls
eyes.
her vine and she's looking at OP.
All right, update.
Oh, I wasn't expecting an update.
I wasn't either. Let's go.
Well, I have an update. I meant to post one a few months ago, but I really needed time to process the events that occurred after this whole ordeal.
What a mature thing to say.
But also,
Yeah.
let's go.
I'm glad I waited, though, because you all need to hear this one.
Oh,
Many people pointed out that my boyfriend must be sleeping with Agatha since she went absolutely bonkers for seemingly no reason. I thought since he immediately took my side and blocked her on everything that you were wrong. In hindsight, it is also a little in ways, it's suspicious that it's just like, yep, yeah, she's gone. Yeah, don't worry about it.
There was
like,
more, yeah.
Can't sweep that pumpkin under the rug.
Oh God.
Well, it was me who was wrong.
oh no.
It turns out that Agatha and my boyfriend have been sleeping together for months.
No.
And they were just really good at hiding it.
Ew.
Until she decided that she didn't want to be his mistress anymore. I found this out when I was at his house and hanging out in his room. He was showering after a workout and I heard this vibrating noise. He had taken his phone and mine was right next to me, so I couldn't figure out what it was. I opened his bedside table drawer and found a second phone.
Oh.
My gut told me that something wasn't right. Why would he have a second phone?
It's just for dealing drugs, right?
Yeah. Maybe,
Right?
I would have
you know
preferred
what?
that.
Maybe he's doing crime. It didn't take me long to guess his password, and my fears were confirmed. There was a missed call from Agatha. I looked through the messages and found out the truth. Not only had they been sleeping together, she recently found out that she was... Holy shit.
No.
Not only had they been sleeping together, she recently found out that she was pregnant.
Oh
My God.
This was the reason she pulled the stunt on Halloween.
I'm the mom pumpkin.
She was trying to force his hand. I also saw that he was messaging other girls as well. I was completely devastated. After his shower, he found me grabbing all of my belongings and putting them in my bag. He asked why I was leaving, and I told him because we were finished. I threw his phone on the bed, and he looked like he was going to vomit. He started pleading with me to hear him out, but I didn't want to hear it. He could have all of those other girls. I didn't want him anymore. He followed me out of the house shaking and crying. He even followed me all the way out to my car trying to block my path. I went over the grass around him and didn't look back. He sent me a long message about how he never wanted to hurt me, that he wanted me back, and how he was using his work phone to text all of these women so I wouldn't find out. That was really helpful.
I didn't want to hurt you. I just wanted to keep a secret from you. You know, you would get someone pregnant.
I sent his boss a nice little message about how company property was being misused. I saw on LinkedIn he no longer works for that company anymore.
Oh.
He is blocked on everything now. I hope he and Agatha have a magical life with their baby. Oh, I heard through the grapevine that he got one of the other women pregnant too.
This guy.
I'm glad I dodged that bullet.
Yeah.
As for me, I am currently in therapy working on my trust issues and learning how to love myself again after this situation. I've been putting myself out there again and have cut contact with anyone who knew what was happening behind my back.
Wow.
That really shifts so much of this. Like,
Yeah.
this guy is awful. Like,
Yeah, I mean, no, and it's just like all of that is toxic.
oh,
like
Yeah.
forcing his hand, him cheating in the first place, and her being called the girl best friend. It's like that is so so messed up and like
it's
evil.
really messed up. And I wonder if Agatha even knows about the other women.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I love that he was literally crying, shaking, throwing up as she was walking out of the house.
Like, I'm hurting so much right now, baby.
God.
I'll never understand. I just can't comprehend it, and I can't comprehend once you've been caught to be like, no. Like we can make this
I
work.
can
I'm like,
explain.
explain what, man?
yeah.
Oh, I cannot
Woo!
believe.
He's like, so I had a lot of trauma in my life, and this is the way that I hurt other people.
Right. Oh my
That's
God.
it, babe.
Dude, that went so much worse than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, okay, maybe no. I was like, no, they're not sleeping together. Nothing happened, but maybe there's feelings, or maybe
Maybe she's tried before.
maybe she has feelings for him. But for it to go that way,
Yeah, no, she clearly dodged a bullet. The bullet being his seed, because he just be getting people pregnant and that are not his partner. That's crazy to me. And yeah, I agree. It is so strange when the cheater goes, no, wait, I want to fix this. I want to no, you only want to fix it now because you've been caught. You are doing this and at a crazy level.
And like crying like he's hurt by it.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Actually, if you think about it, I'm the victim here in a way. Wow. That's crazy.
We have not been given much gray area to work with.
No, this is pretty
these
cut
are
and
some
dry.
villains. Some villains.
I just want like lots of comments on this video. I'm like, nope, that guy was in the right, bro.
Yeah,
Actually, if you think about it,
he's just such a strong seed. He must keep sending his
Sigma
seed.
behavior.
the stories that always blow my mind are the ones where you start off and you have a villain.
Yeah.
And then another villain comes in.
Oh, yeah.
So much bigger.
The final boss.
Yeah, truly. Like, that, it's like, okay. Damn.
That's so sad. And like, I wonder if the friends who were defending the girl best friend knew what was going on.
Probably not.
Maybe though, because
Or
she
maybe-
said I cut out everyone who knew, implying that there were more people around her that she
Messed
had
up.
cut out.
Messed.
That
So
sucks.
it's hard to know.
That sucks, dude.
I'm like almost crying because that was such a
It's devastating.
disgusting situation.
Yeah, it's like freaking nightmare.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible that she showed up in the pumpkin costume, but it needed to happen
It was a
for
blessing.
all this to unfold, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if she'll look back and be like, all right, because I wonder how long it would have gone otherwise.
Yeah.
Imagine if she just let it happen. Imagine she's like, okay, yeah, you can wear the costume and stay here. Like, what would have been the next situation, you know?
Right.
Well, she would have, the pregnancy.
She would have started showing.
At a
right?
certain point, it'd be like, all right, so what's going on
Oh
here?
my God.
Yeah.
No, that was going to happen soon, I think, regardless.
I wonder where people like that end up. Like, I want to update 10 years from now.
Yeah, of like the pumpkin girl and
Yep.
of boyfriend.
Tune into Reddit story number 7,000 in the year 2034.
Love
Get
it.
that update.
We'll find out.
Yeah, he has a strong seed. She has strong pumpkin seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're meant to be anyway.
Gross.
Yeah, I feel gross hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
I
gross.
feel pretty bad.
Yeah.
Strong seed is bad. I don't like that.
Such a weird phrase. A strong seed.
It's like a line from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Here's our next story. This is from 2016. This is a little old school.
I was in high school.
Well,
That makes me sick.
here we go. It's a 29-year-old woman. My boyfriend, who's 32, gave away my Hamilton tickets. Am I being selfish for just wanting to break up over this?
What?
Based on that title alone, what do you think?
So he gave away the Hamilton tickets?
He gave away Hamilton tickets.
Okay, it better have been for a lot of money.
Throw away because while I'm fairly sure he or his family doesn't Reddit, I would rather be safe than sorry. Backstory, my mom is genuinely one of the funniest, kindest, sweetest people I've ever met, and I'm genuinely lucky to have been her daughter. She had me fairly young, raised me by herself, and while we were pretty poor growing up, she did her damnedest to make sure that I got a good education and had everything I needed as a kid. One of the things we share is a love of the theater. She would save up and take me to all the musicals that stopped on tour in our town, and while we were always in the cheap seats, it was always something we both greatly looked forward to. These memories of going to the theater with my mom are very precious to me and are one of the main factors in why I work in the entertainment industry today. Corporate side, I have a horrendous singing voice, LOL. Fast forward to today. Like most theater nerds, my mom and I are basically obsessed with Hamilton. And for those of you who aren't really familiar with it, this show is basically impossible to get tickets for at this point, unless you want to see it in January of next year. I'm lucky enough to be in a financial position with my job that I could afford tickets for a show in July for me and my mom. These are amazing seats, 5th row center. And through some type of divine intervention, I managed to snag tickets for the night of Lin-Manuel Miranda's final performance. I surprised my mom with these tickets back in December. I bought them in October, I think, for Christmas. I'm making a whole week of it. I put us up in a really nice hotel. I made reservations at a bunch of restaurants that we both want to try, and we're going to do a bunch of touristy shit in general. Plus try to see if we can fit in at least one other show before we leave. We're both incredibly excited for this. My mom even has a little Hamilton countdown that she's doing on a mini chalkboard she uses as a planner. She sends me pics every day when she changes it. It's cute. In January, I began dating this guy that I'll refer to as Josh. We were casual / not exclusive for a while, but became serious within the last 2 months. He also works in the corporate side of entertainment, but at a different agency than I do. He also has a higher position than me and makes a lot more money than I do. This becomes important. We met at an industry event and we hit it off instantly. I thought I could get really serious about this guy, and up to this point, there have been no red flags that I've seen. Although right now, I'm sifting through all of my memories to see if there's something I missed. He also comes from a much wealthier family than I do. Josh has a younger sister that I'll call Jennifer, who's 17, that's kind of going through a big troubled teen phase. She cuts class, smokes, and is really disrespectful to her parents. I've only met her once, but as far as I know, she's not doing anything too bad. She's just kind of a sad kid and could really benefit from some therapy. I floated this by Josh, but he said his parents are kind of disdainful of therapy in general. Josh says they can't reach out to her no matter what they do, and they've tried everything, except trying to get her to a counselor, but whatever. Actual problem time. Sunday night, I was at my place with Josh. We were drinking wine and cuddling while watching the Tonys, Theater Awards show in parenthesis.
Oh.
Got it. I didn't know.
Gotcha. Didn't know that one.
My mom was texting me during the Hamilton performance and geeking out about how excited she was. I laughed and showed my mom's text to Josh because I thought it was so adorable. And he didn't say anything off, but he was acting kind of strange after. He asked me what date the show we were going to was. I told him, and then he went into the other room to take a phone call. I thought nothing of it because we both have to take random phone calls like that for our jobs all the time, and he's going through some kind of tough time at his. He was in an unusually good mood afterwards and said he had to go home early because he had to sign some forms at the office early tomorrow, before we met up to go get brunch with his parents later that day. Again, nothing too unusual and pretty common with the both of us. He picks me up at work for brunch with his parents, and again, he's in an unusually good mood. I ask what's up, and he says vaguely that things are going well at the office, and this deal he's trying to make is finally going through. I don't really press for info because we both try to avoid work topics, partially due to work shit being fairly banal, and partially because we both have to sign some pretty gnarly NDAs a lot of the time. And this is only my second time meeting his parents, so I'm still a bit nervous about brunch. We get to the brunch place, and the first thing his mom does when she sees me is gives me a huge warm hug and profoundly thanks me for my kindness. Her dad also gives me a huge handshake and thanks me for helping out with Jen. I'm kind of what the f***ing because I have no clue what they're talking about. I ask what she means and she says, for giving her the Hamilton tickets. I turn around to Josh and he just has this big grin on his face. But Reddit, that time my boyfriend was away talking on the phone for business, he was actually on the phone with Jen promising that I would give her my Hamilton tickets. I was so thrown off by this that I, kind of not very tactfully, I admit, say how I had no clue about this. Josh looks pissed and his parents are equally thrown off. But instead of getting mad at Josh, his mom just says, well, you can still give them to her though, right? And they all look at me like I'm supposed to just agree with this. I try to explain that the trip is actually for me and my mom, and how important this is to my mom. All three of them start going on about how Jen is super excited about this, and that this is the first time that she's not been mad / expressed happiness to them in a while. And that's how the next half hour goes, basically, until the parents leave, mad, and the dad calls me a selfish cow. I'm so flabbergasted that I just sort of put up with it, but I could barely get in a word. Josh and I go outside the brunch place, and he starts screaming at me about my selfishness and how Jen is going through a much harder time than they thought. He wasn't clear on this, so I'm not quite sure what he meant, and that I'm being childish because it's just a musical. I hate having arguments in public. Also, this is one of my favorite brunch spots, and I wanted to be able to come back without being embarrassed, so I wasn't really engaging. He eventually called me a what the and then left in his car, which is awkward as hell because it was a valet parking, so he was just kind of stewing by the valet stand while I was waiting for my Uber. Later that night, I texted him saying while I wasn't giving up my tickets, there are still some available on that date. However, they cost about $2,500 due to ticket scalpers jacking up the price. Believe me, this is not a problem for either the parents or my boyfriend. He literally bought a $3,000 watch for funsies last week. The only response I got was that was an exorbitant fee. I agree, but not the point. He refuses to pay, and he didn't understand why I couldn't just give the tickets to Jen. I also got texts from both his parents pleading with me to get the tickets, and also they forwarded an email to me that Jen sent to Josh and her parents, thanking them for the surprise. Apparently, she's also obsessed with Hamilton, and this is making her year. Also, we live in LA. Do they also expect me to give up my plane ticket / hotel? What the was their game plan here? Look, I completely understand wanting to help out with Jen, and I feel really bad that apparently her family is filled with weirdos, but this has been all so baffling, and the entitled behavior they displayed is a massive turnoff. I'm not giving up these tickets. Is this selfish? But I also kind of want to cut my losses here. The attitude Josh displayed towards me outside of the brunch place was very unpleasant to say the least, and he knows how disrespectful I find being called a so I'm half of a mind to just break up with him. He knew I had these tickets for a while, and I don't get why he decided to do this now at all. But should I contact Jen and explain at all? I just saw that she made a really excited post on Facebook about it. I'm not friends with her, but I am friends with my boyfriend, and he liked her post. I would straight up buy the ticket for her, but frankly, I can't afford those prices because I'm saving up for the New York City trip for my mom. How do I move forward? Oh my God.
She should kill him.
Break up with that mother.
I was reading it, I was like, you know what? Maybe he should die.
Maybe dump him and then dump his body. Like actually murder this man.
That is wild.
Yes.
Everything inside me was shutting down.
No, I'm
My
gagged.
system was like,
Her comment where she's like, I'm looking back and seeing all the red flags, and I'm like, there's no fucking way this guy didn't have a million red flags.
probably had I cannot believe the parents called her a selfish cow.
Cow?
Yeah.
What?
No, this family's
This
a
is
nightmare.
okay. First of all, I'm really glad that I was worried that he sold the tickets and they were gone.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
was getting really overwhelmed.
Me too. I thought it was going to be something with like the agency where he was like, I need to close a deal, so he gave the tickets, and
And
I
the
was
mom
like,
was sending photos. She had a checklist. She was ready to go to Hamilton. It's their thing.
It's their
Since they
thing.
were young. Why would he take that?
because he's evil and needs to die.
Let's
Yes.
bury him under the brunch place.
Done.
Done.
Done. We're going.
All right.
It's been 8 years, guys.
You coming?
He could be dead.
Let's look at the obituary.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, Jen, I get it. 17-years are going through a tough time, but tickets
But
aren't going to solve her issue.
and let's be clear,
No.
Jen's her year is not going to be ruined because of her. Her year is going to be ruined because of her family
Yeah.
lying to her
Lying.
and making up all this bullshit, and that they're not willing to just buy the tickets for her.
She probably would be so upset knowing that would be taken away from this.
Yeah.
No,
I-
that's actually like just full of absurd ridiculousness.
Horrendous.
It actually just continued to unravel and fully just stopped making sense at a certain point.
Yeah.
It was that bad.
I feel bad for her because, there's a lot of people like this and like of people who they are so harsh on themselves that they're not realizing how much of a monster someone is. Because
Yep.
at the end here, after she wrote out this story, she's like, I am not giving up these tickets. In parenthesis, is this selfish? It's like, how are you questioning that?
What are you saying?
How are you possibly questioning that?
This is your thing
It's-
that you worked hard for.
I completely like hear that though. Like it's like you don't have that. No, this person has clearly never been validated. They've only been made to feel like that they are wrong, to doubt themselves, to be insecure about their thoughts. So they do have to genuinely reach out to a community and say, am I crazy?
I can only assume that this guy, in their few months of dating, has been so controlling, and she thinks it's normal.
Yep.
And this was finally where he clearly thought he could just do this.
Of
Like,
course.
here she was talking about, like, I got tickets with my mom, and he's sitting there going, oh, I can just take those.
Yeah.
Those are mine now.
You're so right.
Like, he is so messed up that he's thinking just, yeah, I'll be able to do. And he assumed he would say that, and she'd go, oh, yeah. That's what he thought was going to
He had
happen.
so much
And he was
control.
so mad when it didn't work.
Yeah, he called her a outside her favorite brunch place. That is a crime.
That is a crime.
Yeah.
And I love that she was like, I wasn't going to fight back because I want to come back to this brunch place.
Yes, I loved that. But
I
you know
know,
what?
I know.
I fully want to say, like, it's heartbreaking that she doesn't understand that it is so selfish of him to do. But I do want to take a second and actually acknowledge how empathetic this woman is.
Yeah.
And that gets taken advantage of.
Yes, in her whole response, she does not like blow her top at all. She's continuing to be like, they called me this, and you know what? I understand because they're clearly going through a lot
It's
inside
like,
of their
you
family.
don't owe them that in
And
this
it's
moment.
like, oh, honey, like
Right.
you have clearly, you have so many great tools, and it sounds like she's had a great mother who has raised her so right. Hamilton, so cute, so great.
Let's also
they
be
have a
clear.
great relationship.
Let's also be clear. They're going through a lot. They have the money to buy these tickets.
Right.
They could have just gone, you know what? She's taking her mom. That's a great idea. We should buy tickets for Jen.
Right.
Like,
No.
no, they don't want to do shit for Jen.
Also, take Jen to therapy, man.
yeah, actually, like
no, Jen's
hashtag
probably
take Jen to
miserable.
therapy.
Jen's miserable because that's her family.
Exactly.
yeah, justice for Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justice for Jen
No,
and the brunch
I guarantee
place.
you, Jen's probably like, I fucking hate them.
I fucking hate it. Is there any update?
No, but there's some comments here.
Lynn
Okay.
didn't go on that night.
Top comment. I would dump him. It's not just about the tickets, but the lack of respect. He chose not to tell you and waited for it to come out in public in hopes that you'd step down to avoid making a scene. You sound like you have a good relationship with your mom. Take her to the show. Good moms are forever, boys are temporary. That's so true. He waited. He waited till there was a bunch of people at her brunch spot and
Controlling.
let someone else say it so that
So that he
he,
doesn't have to be
he
the bad
set up
guy.
the whole chess trap. Insane. OP responded to that saying, yeah, I'm typing up an email dumping him right now.
Email.
Normally, I think it's better to meet up in real life for things like this, but his behavior both during and outside brunch was scary, and I would prefer not to be alone with him right now. Maybe that's paranoid, but better safe than sorry.
No, it's
I think this is one of those situations where everything was so crazy and they were acting like this is totally normal behavior that I thought I was the insane one. Another comment. There was a really similar post to this during Christmas where the OP made this beautiful cat vase for her mom by hand. It took months, and the boyfriend gifted it to his mom in front of her and expected the OP to just go along with it. The OP said there was a mix-up, and the boyfriend's mom was so crushed. He reacted the same way this OP's boyfriend did, yelling and calling her selfish. So apparently stuff like this happens more often than you think. Lastly, we have someone said, erase yourself from the narrative.
Queen.
Yes.
Queen.
OP said all the Hamilton puns in here are killing me in the best way. I can only assume there was a bunch more.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I think at any stage in a relationship, if your partner calls you a that's, if you said, you know, I'm going to break up with them, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. Like, had they been married for 20 years and this happened, that's grounds to get rid of him
Agreed.
entirely.
Absolutely.
This is like 2 months in. This guy is a nightmare.
That one really made me go,
I have a feeling.
what?
I have a feeling that shit's common.
Oh.
Also, in the comments, let me know if that has happened to you or if someone has.
Is
done
that
shit.
common?
I think like just that type of controlling behavior of
Yeah.
just being like, that's mine. Like everything's mine.
And just like treating other people around like they are just your pawns.
Yeah.
It's just his family and people around him that he cares about. And this girl, well, her life doesn't matter because she only exists as an extension of me for the last
See where
2
he
months.
got it from. I mean, his parents.
Yeah.
And Jen's like probably
Jen.
living her life. She's probably a spiritual guru. at
Oh
this
God,
point.
yeah.
Hopefully.
Justice for Jen. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend her home decor is the reason I won't host a work gathering at her place? It's a 32-year-old man. I've been with my girlfriend, who's 29, for over a year now. She's smart, funny, a bit quirky, and has a serious job with a good salary. We have a great time together and generally get along very well. The only thing is her choice in home decor is bizarre, to put it frankly, and not something you'd think a normal, grown adult would be into. Her apartment is definitely a reflection of herself and interests, not in the best way, though. My girlfriend has a wall dedicated to animation in one room of her apartment, like Futurama pieces and etchings of some weird triangle guy. Then there's the wall of framed preserved insects in another room, but not insects like butterflies or moths. Instead, she displays tarantulas, beetles, and large stick insects. Her bathroom has a subtle theme of the ocean, pretty common. But instead of starfish or shells, she has a little anglerfish nightlight, a small vampiric squid painting, and then a framed diagram of what apparently is a goblin shark right by the toilet. I would say a majority of her home decor and furnishings are okay. The apartment itself is very modern and sleek. It's just the random decor and juvenile-ish themes like cartoons, insects, and bizarre ocean creatures is off-putting. This is where I might be the asshole. I avoid bringing people over to her place, especially people from my job, because of how juvenile it looks. Everyone's impressed when they see the high-rise, but that quickly fades once you enter. The one time I brought a work colleague over, they ended up telling me after that they found her insect wall terrifying. I work in finance, and appearances and first impressions are important.
Finance, bro.
My office will hold casual gatherings where we get together for a few drinks, good food, and we rotate hosts. And this time it's my turn. The problem is my place is under some construction and not an ideal place to be right now. So I've been staying with my girlfriend. My girlfriend suggested that we host my colleagues here since she has the space and thinks it'd be fun. I told her I planned on skipping my rotation and seeing if the next person would be okay with hosting early. She kept pressing on why I didn't want them to be over here, so I finally said it's because her home decor is strange and not something a grown woman would have, and also that her insect wall horrified the one colleague that did come over. My girlfriend got mad and said at the end of the day, it's not my space and these things bring her joy. She also said that she indeed is an adult woman, which is exactly why her apartment is decorated in such a manner. I love my girlfriend, I do, and it's okay to have different interests, but does an adult really need to decorate with them besides a few things here and there? I mean, my own mother asked if my girlfriend was autistic after she saw the entire apartment for the first time. So Reddit, am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend her home decor is the reason I won't host a work gathering at her place?
Dump his ass.
Yeah, I think, if I may, my first impression here is I think the issue is that she has a personality and he doesn't.
Yeah.
And neither does his
Shane, he
friend.
works in finance.
That's such a...
I already know exactly what he looks like. Which is he's just Schmidt from New Girl. Like, he looks exactly like that.
But
yeah.
worse.
But worse.
Gosh, I was only laughing in the beginning because it was so funny to me how specific he was roasting her decoration. He's like, and then there's a starfish in the corner. And I thought it was very funny. And then it just gets worse.
I'm laughing because that's my space. 100%. I have a bunch of animation cells, which I have yet to hang up, but I'm
Didn't
going
you just
to.
get a new thing that's like an insect or something?
Yeah, so I don't have actual taxidermied insects because that's not my thing, but I ended up getting off of Etsy. Oh God,
It's a taxidermied Butterfree.
It's a taxidermied Butterfree. It's a Pokemon, but I wanted to say their name. It's something Oddities. Overcast Oddities. Yeah, they do like shout out. They do Pokemon like taxidermy, and I'm like, well, that I can get behind. So I have the animation, I have the Pokemon taxidermy, and then in the bathroom, I'm going to do basically that kind of like oceany theme, maybe a little bit of Cthulhu, and I'm like, I'm an adult. I'm older than that person. Like,
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to bring my work friends to your place.
good, you're not invited.
I'm not going to bring my finance bros over.
Yeah, so I know I work at Smosh, but I'm also not gonna bring my finance friends over to your apartment.
I mean, it's whatever. Open invitation. I'll text you my address. You can figure it out.
You know, it's tough because he points out like these things are for kids, like insects. Like whenever I'm walking around a park and I see an insect, I'm like, sorry, dude, that's for kids.
Yeah.
I don't want to look
Whoa.
at you. Sorry, I don't look at bugs. Whenever I see a bug, I gotta walk the other
Oh my
way.
God, get the spider out. It's for kids.
If I'm at the beach and I see a starfish, I'm like, I gotta walk the other way. That's for kids.
You go, I'm an adult. I can't be here at the beach.
I can't. Sorry, the ocean. That's for kids.
Yeah. Dude, there's a black widow on your face. Don't worry about it. Those are for kids.
Those are for kids.
It'll
I'm an
plop right
adult.
off.
Not
It's
gonna worry
bite me.
about it.
Here's the thing too. Let's address the autism line. Autism is not a bad thing. It is a spectrum and presents in a lot of different ways. And B, like, you don't have to be autistic to have a hyperfixation, but a lot of people who are autistic do have specific special interests. And that's awesome. And I think we're living in a time where there's no like right way to be grown up anymore. Like a lot of the adults grew up with video games. Like we don't want to stop doing all these fun things. If we have adult money and we want to use it on something, it's not like, oh, a new toaster. It's like, no, I want to buy this cool framed thing that I like from a show I like. Like this just shows that this person is not right for that girl. It's
Right.
just it's the wrong match. He probably thinks she's cute and quirky and makes it like a I don't know.
Absolutely. No, I mean, in my opinion, you know, he needs to check in with how he's talking about his girlfriend here. I mean, it's super derogatory. And I mean, in his mind, this is all abnormal when it's like, there's no normal way to decorate your home. You're allowed to do it however you want. But this is part of who she is. When you're dating someone and you're with someone and how they decorate their home, that to me is like, that's huge. And that's not something I would ever try to change. Or if I am not okay with it and I'm not okay with bringing friends over, I'd be like, then I can't do this.
This is so interesting,
That's
though.
huge.
I don't know, because I think sometimes it's the other way for, I don't know, like not to gender it, but I do think a lot of girls will be like, oh, there's posters in this room. He's a kid. And like, but there's a difference between like posters and like framed posters.
Yeah.
And like maybe like an age college to adulthood thing. But I think if what he's upset about is the context of the art. It's not how the art is hung.
You're right.
That's what I mean.
or,
Her
like,
actual interest.
It's, yeah.
The organization, the cleanliness, the presentation.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the adult thing, right? Of like how you organize your space, like how you do that. But your interests and the aesthetic.
Yeah,
is
he's
part
just
of who
roasting
you
what
are.
she likes.
Yeah, and
That's
also
what it is.
it's not things that I think are. But I also, you know, being in the YouTube world, I feel like more people I know have places like this than not.
Look at our little plane.
We're so quirky. I mean,
it's a plane for too much for kids.
but no, sincerely, more people I know are collectors of various sorts. I mean, most of my adult friends have like Lego sets and stuff in their homes
was
on
literally gonna bring up
display,
Legos, yeah.
and I mean that's more normal than not amongst people I know. And these are very adult people who work very hard, who like are every adult category they're marking off, but. You're allowed to have interests, and that's part of being adult is you're allowed to have whatever you want now if you earn it. Like
maybe I'm unlikable, but what about your construction, dude? I think he's lying.
oh, you're into Bob the Builder? You fucking loser!
Bob the Builder. I don't know. He's an asshole.
He's an asshole. This is also like an example of, I don't know, like a lot of my space is decorated in like a spooky way. I collect like older antique things. Sometimes I restore old furniture that I find. But like other people, if they super want like a modern vibe, that's okay too. But it sounds like this person is obsessed with like, for lack of a better term, like the normie paradigm of things to do. Like, nope, everything's got to be perfect and modern. Looks like it comes from IKEA, and if it's not, then you're just a baby.
Yeah. Also, there's a difference between like childish and childlike, right? Like when someone like can do, I think you could put something up that may be childlike or like just like Legos. But then if she was acting childish and that was embarrassing to him, maybe I could get behind that. Like if the apartment was taken care of like a child and there wasn't like, and she wasn't cleaning or something.
But
Blocks
it's not
on the
even.
ground,
It's not
apple
even.
juice.
It's not even childish. It's Futurama. Like
Right.
that's one of the best shows ever made.
And it's pretty adult.
It's definitely pretty adult. But my way of decorating my own space, I'm very minimalist and stuff, but like I love seeing really cool, unique ways that people decorate their homes.
Yeah.
Also, last thing I want to
Pokemon
add,
shirt. Just saying, I'm 32.
that means fucking sick.
Thanks. That's what I was looking for.
But I want to also point out, he talks about like, this is where we gather to have a couple drinks, and this place is way too crazy for us. I'm like, have you not been to a bar?
I know.
Bars have crazy themes. That's the whole
You
point.
freaking idiot.
With snowshoes on the wall.
This doesn't make sense to me. I've been to so many weird bars with literally
That's
like
so true.
crazy aesthetics and stuff. That's the point. People pay so much money to get reservations at like weird places like
Yes,
that.
bro probably walks into TGI Fridays thinking it's a daycare.
Okay, some comments here. I hate people who gatekeep adulthood. They're stuffy and boring and have no sense of whimsy. Why do people have to give up the stuff they enjoy just because they reach an arbitrary age that makes them an adult? That's bullshit. Love what you love and celebrate it until the day you die. And the triangle dude is almost certainly Bill Cipher.
Yep. It's
From
Bill
Gravity
from Gravity
Falls.
Falls. Thank you.
Someone else said, you're the asshole, your girlfriend sounds rad. If I walked into a coworker's house like that, my respect level for them would go way up. Just let people be interested in things. Lastly, not the asshole for not wanting to host there because it's not your place, but you're the asshole for making your girlfriend feel bad for being who she is in her own place.
Yeah, it would be fair if the boyfriend was like, hey, I'm going to skip my rotation because I'm very excited to show off my place to my colleagues. That's what I'm looking for. But it is coming from a place of embarrassment about his girlfriend.
Yeah,
and I do want to
truly.
come back to that last line real quick. Like, for anyone who doesn't know me, I am on the autism spectrum in some capacity, and I've got all sorts of other letters that describe my brain. So the fact that he's like, man, my mom even said it like this. It's like, dude, maybe she is. But the fact that you view that as a bad thing means that anything about her mental health is always going to have to be hidden from you and something you will be ashamed of. When she's a quirky, like 60-year-old and you're together and she's like, I want to put out this fun bird feeder, you're going to be like, oh, geez.
Yeah, like, my guy, just go to Airbnb, get a little museum for your wine and your friends and go home.
Am I the asshole for accidentally losing my mother-in-law's ashes?
Oh no. In-law.
Was she
Not
chill?
the in-law. Was she chill?
No, she was burned.
This is a 26-year-old man. I and my wife, who's 25, have been married for 4 years and together for 6.
Bro.
We met in college and shortly.
Sorry, they got married real young.
Yeah.
How old were they?
He was 22, she was 21.
Oh.
And they've been together for years before that. We met in college, and shortly after we graduated, I proposed. We've never fought and have always stayed loyal and faithful. When she was 16, her mother died in a fatal accident. I won't go into detail, but after a fight between her mother and her father, her mom stormed out and was hit while crossing the street by a drunk driver. I've always understood how devastating her mother's loss has been and always was there for her on her mother's passing anniversary and Mother's Day. Lately, we've been thinking about having kids, so we moved from our small apartment in New York to a nice home in New Jersey. The move was stressful for both of us, and we wanted to make sure we didn't forget anything. Once we finished packing, she asked me to do one last scan through her apartment and to grab her mother's ashes, which were in a vase. She was going to drive to the house with all our stuff, and I'd carefully bring the vase to make sure it wasn't damaged in all the other boxes. I said goodbye to the house and put the vase in my front seat and started driving. I was driving to the house when some jerk cut me off, making me slam the brakes. The vase had a ceramic lid and was suctioned on loosely. When I slammed the brakes, the vase tumbled from the front seat and the lid came off. I pulled to the side of the road to try and scoop it back in, but it was no use. I ended up pulling up to a car wash where you could vacuum and clean your car.
You're a criminal.
I vacuumed up any trace of the ashes and made my car look good as new. For the new ashes, I went to pick up dirt and sand off the side of the road and had filled up the vase halfway. Everything worked out great. I made it to the house. I used the excuse that there was heavy traffic on the highway, and that's why I was late. Everything was all good until she lifted the vase. She said it felt heavier than before. I told her maybe she just thought it was lighter, but when she opened the
Maybe you're
vase,
dumb.
when she opened the vase, she noticed a slight difference in the color. Instead of a light gray, it was tan and brown with little pebbles.
Am I the pebble?
Am I the pebble? We were making that joke before we
Or
started.
am I the pebble?
And she's like, what are those? She's like, those must have been inside of her.
Dude, those are bones.
Those are bones, dude. Wow, your mom had round bones.
Dude, Emily, I'm sorry, you picked the wrong people to.
Emily really made sure that we were okay with this, and now
Like,
here we
dude.
are. She immediately asked what happened. I told her the story, and she was fuming.
Dude, he caved so fast.
She couldn't believe I sucked her mom up into a vacuum and replaced her
You
with
sucked
dirt.
my mom up?
You sucked my mom?
Stop.
She couldn't believe I sucked her mom up into a vacuum and replaced her with dirt. She threatened to kick me out, saying if I didn't leave, she would. She just left to go for a walk, and I think she blew things out of proportion. I kept calling her, and when she finally answered, I told her she acted like I killed her.
Oh!
She hung up, and I haven't heard or seen from her in 2 hours. Am I the asshole, or is she just taking this way too far? Okay, number one, I've started to come to the opinion that if people are posting a Reddit story mere hours after a fight, I think you're an
Unwell.
asshole. I think you're an asshole even if you're in the fight, to just
I
immediately
think
go
there's
to
something
Reddit.
deeply wrong with you.
That's weird. Comments here. Let me think really hard for a moment. Yes, you're the asshole. Someone said, you're the asshole. You admit you didn't secure the urn properly, tried to hide the evidence, and yet you still think she's the issue? Assuming this is a real post, I suspect you'll be heading for divorce court soon. You seriously can't be dense enough to wonder why she's mad at you. OP responded, she never told me to secure the urn, and I didn't want to do anything to mess with it or the ashes. But when it fell, I felt I had to do something to get my sled out of the trouble. Okay, that's weaponized incompetence there. She didn't tell me to secure the urn.
Yeah, that's so
It's like,
messed up.
What?
I'm imagining he sees all the ashes there and he pulls over, he's like, oh, what do I do? Then he looks over and he sees like a copy of Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and he gets the vacuum and it's like,
Oh my God.
All he had to do is as soon as it happens, he needs to call her and be like, I am so sorry. I just had to slam my brakes because someone cut me off and the ashes are now in the seat of my car. Let's figure out how to get them. They're there. The ashes are in your car. Yes, they're spilled out. There's got to be a better way to go about this. But you vacuumed it up, which is getting rid of it.
Yeah, I think what I've seen people do, and it's obviously not like a foolproof thing, but it's like you buy a new little handy vac, a new one.
Yeah.
And then you get as much of the remains as you can. Obviously, it's not going to be 100%
And then you
of the
empty that
remains.
into the vase.
You put it
Yeah.
back. But the fact that he immediately, it was like he's done this before. Like he
know.
so quickly was like, I went to clean my car out and I grabbed some debris from the side of the road. Like zero remorse.
he dug his own grave.
He dug
with
his own
this.
grave.
He, in that situation, he cared more about his car because he's even like, yeah, my car was
Yeah,
good
my
as new.
car was.
My car was
My
good as
car
new.
looked awesome.
But this person, nah.
This is. Can I say this is like Meet the Parents on several
I
levels?
was
Yes.
thinking
Because
this
they
is-
break the urn, but also when the cat runs away and he brings back the other cat.
Yeah.
They couldn't tape it down.
This was some Ben Stiller shenanigans.
They could have literally taped it down. One piece of tape, a little tape down tape. Tape.
I didn't know people actually kept ashes in like open urns. Or
It's not
vase.
open. It's like it's
Got a
an
lid.
urn.
Oh, I guess so.
and
The
they
whole
don't-
thing shattered.
It's not like a. It's not
I
like
think
a
the
twist
lid
on.
came off. It fell and the lid fell off. So I'm like, there's still stuff there. One last comment. Lol, absolutely no way is this real. Vacuuming up her dead mother's remains. I'm not sure you get to see heaven after that. OP responded, I was extremely nervous and stressed. It was the first thing I could think of. Now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't the smartest thing I could do. Thanks for the feedback. 139 downvotes. Yeah, dude, come on.
Buddy. And then what really sucks is that stuff happened. Sucks is the vacuum. What after it happened, his reaction to her feelings.
Oh,
she
my
had
God.
every right to have an absolute tantrum. She could have freaking busted a window. But him being like, you're acting like I killed her. Like, just say you're fucking sorry. Say you're so fucking sorry.
The beginning of it to me is just like when you to understand the weight of something to someone, like that is if anyone, if a stranger came up to me and was like, hey, these are some ashes, I need you to transport them. I wouldn't just like plop it in a seat and buckle it up. Like I would probably put that in a box and seal that. So I'm like, I need to know nothing can happen to this shit because like that's so much responsibility. He
or
treated
just
it like it
ask
was
them like,
whatever.
hey, how do you think I should transport
Yeah.
this? Maybe.
Communicate it. You didn't tell me to secure it.
Yeah, no, that's
Oh, you didn't tell me you didn't want me to vacuum it up.
that totally is weaponized incompetence by making it her responsibility when him, an
Yeah.
adult who was given one job.
And then adding the dirt is crazy.
Yeah, that's some
dirt with pebbles in it.
That's some Mr. Bean shit.
It really was a Mr. Bean level of like stupid. It was,
This feels heavier. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh, what's worse, adding the dirt or showing up with the urn half full? Adding the dirt is so much
Adding
worse.
the dirt.
Adding the dirt.
That
is
is
the
you're adding a
most-
lie, and
Yeah.
it's so disrespectful because that's in its own little way. You're equating your mother-in-law's ashes to dirt, to just dirt.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, it's kind of the same.
Yeah,
Kind of.
when it comes to like human remains, there is like a very intensely special level of respect that you pay to that, and I'm sure that the reaction would have been there still would have been some pain from his girlfriend, but like or from his wife, but to add dirt into it, like at least she could have still just had her mom still.
Yeah.
Not as much. Now
I'm
he's-
an urn half full kind of guy.
Wow, I think it was a nail in the coffin for how he reacted and made it her fault somehow. When you had one job. If I was ever asked to do something like that, I would frickin' 10 pieces of tape, trash bag wrapped around, taped around the trash bag.
Walk it
This is
there.
Put stuffed animals around it.
This is an am I the ex situation. This
Yeah.
person is broken up with and he
Yeah.
doesn't realize it.
Am I the asshole for trying to help my girlfriend without hurting her feelings? Okay.
Good start.
Okay.
Nothing wrong here.
I, a 32-year-old man, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, a 24-year-old woman, for almost 3 years now. When we first got together, she was pretty overweight and struggling with her self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. Over time, she started to work on herself, both physically and mentally. I've been incredibly proud of her progress and how far she's come. Lately, though, I noticed that she's been putting on some weight again, and it's been affecting her mental health. She's mentioned feeling down about her body image, and her struggles with anxiety and depression have resurfaced. I genuinely care for her, and I don't want to see her suffer like this. I thought about talking it out, but I knew it would just devolve into asking if I'm still attracted to her. And truthfully, I have lost some attraction over the last month or so, though she does still look amazing for the most part. I thought it would be... Yeah, I know.
Sorry, it's the for the most part.
Yeah,
for me.
it's...
Okay.
I thought it would be better to take a more subtle approach, so I've started adding small amounts of sawdust to her food.
No.
That I've never been more caught off guard by a sentence. I'm sorry, I thought I would take a more subtle approach, so I've started adding small amounts of sawdust to her food. The idea being it would help her feel fuller faster and encourage her to eat less without her knowing. I was trying to prevent her from falling back into her previous state of depression and anxiety. Unfortunately, my brother, a 30-year-old man, caught me in the act, and he was shocked/angry. He told me... Look, he told me I was being manipulative and abusive, which, okay, a little shady maybe, but abusive is a serious stretch. Now my brother is giving me an ultimatum. He wants me to tell my girlfriend what I've been doing by the end of the week, or he'll tell her himself. He believes she deserves to know the truth. I think what I've been doing is enough to help her without causing her unnecessary pain by revealing what I've done. She's already lost a few pounds. I told him I would stop, and I believe that should be sufficient. I don't see the point of telling her and potentially destroying the progress she's made. My brother thinks I'm completely in the wrong and that my girlfriend deserves the truth, but I genuinely believe I was doing what I thought would be best for her, and I don't see it as a malicious act. Am I really the jerk for trying to help my girlfriend in this way, or is my brother overreacting? Should I tell my girlfriend what I've been doing or keep it to myself to spare her feelings? I need honest opinions here. Please keep in mind that telling her upfront that she's put on weight could seriously set back her mental health.
Okay. Well, first off,
Sometimes you get a story that you're just like,
I want to go to bed. Like I don't know how to continue my day.
I think we're missing some serious context here. I need to know: is this sawdust organic?
That's a good point.
yeah, is it keto?
Yeah.
Keto sawdust? Let me read this comment really quick. You're the asshole. You were poisoning her food. OP responded, it wasn't poison. It was sawdust. I could see if I was adding laxatives or something, but plenty of processed foods use sawdust as a filler. I thought it was a safe way to reduce her caloric intake.
So I think it's cellulose. I think because that was the whole thing with Subway bread. Like people were like Subway bread has sawdust because it's cellulose. That they
got
add.
it.
I think that's.
I
what it
will
is.
say sawdust has a lot of fiber. Ha cha 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 cha.
Cha-cha.
That's bad. Like that's
so insane.
He's-
That's like also just like robbing her of like the agency to
Oh yeah.
like
it's yet another story here where we see like a man looking at his partner and being like, I love her so much. She's so sweet. I'm doing these crazy things to her because I love her so much. Like, that's not love, that's control. And I also want to point out, like, look, sometimes age differences are fine. Sometimes it works out. But as the age difference gets bigger, there's more of a chance for it to be like, this is a little creepy and a little controlling. So when they got together, he was 29, she was 21. It's an 8-year age gap. And he's also like, yeah, her self-esteem was terrible. And there's an 8-year age difference. I'm like, well, you have all the power and control you could ever want. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And now he's like, yeah, I'm feeding her secretly. It's just, that's an unhealthy situation.
No, it's super
It's
insane.
horrifying.
It's insane. Look, reading these Reddit stories, I do notice a correlation of when dudes are dating a woman much younger than them, there's often controlling habits from these men.
Like
I do
better
notice that
kind of,
they're like, I can help her, I can fix this, I know, like, and it's like, then that's not a relationship to be in. Like if you believe you're superior to your partner, no, that's not good. That's not
awful.
healthy. It's a bad
Yeah.
mindset. That's controlling.
Also, I guess it should be noted, if you want to lose weight, don't do sawdust.
Oh my God.
Don't eat sawdust.
Like,
That's-
don't eat sawdust.
if you're feeling like shit, don't eat sawdust. That's gonna make you
sawdust is
feel
not gonna
worse.
make you feel better.
It's so sad because like so much is tied to people's weight, and everybody has so much baggage tied to that in your own personal journey. And I don't know anybody who's ever like not questioned their own weight, and certain people have like really troubled histories with that. So for him to basically be implementing what would be the result of like an eating disorder onto this person without their knowledge, it's truly horrific on so many levels.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
what
if I've ever heard of a secondary eating
like
disorder before.
Munchausen's by proxy, but
He
like,
literally is like Munchausen's by proxy to her in a weird way. Someone commented being like, you are the asshole. For starters, I understand that you're trying to help her in your own way, but please never add things to people's food without their consent. She could have been allergic, or, I mean, it's sawdust. I'm adding splinters to her oatmeal.
I mean, actually.
Someone commented saying, like, have you made similar comments to her that might be making her feel this way? And he said, no, I would never say something like that to her. I know how damaging it could be. I was trying to take a two-pronged approach, if that makes sense. I thought if we had healthy habits and she saw immediate results, it would help her stay motivated. We only have this story.
Sawdust and healthy.
We only have
not-
this story to go off of, but he's talking a lot about like, oh, but it makes her mental health and all this stuff. And I'm just like, it sounds to me like you care more about this than her. And I think I don't know. That's my assumption based on this story from his perspective, that she can, and he even admitted like, yeah, and it's affected my attraction for her. I think he cares about her weight and he's trying to use a bunch of excuses.
I think he cares about her weight a lot, and I also think not speaking to her is for him more than her. He's like, if I bring this up to her because he's afraid to admit to her that it matters to him, which, yeah, that sucks, but like he's afraid to bring it up, then she's going to be mad at me or feel sad, and then things are going to get worse for me. Like, none of this is from a place of love. It's from a place of like ownership.
Yeah.
And it's really gross.
It's also a crime.
It's a crime.
It is.
100%.
I think this is a full-on crime.
Putting sawdust in food?
Yeah. I would imagine this, at the very least, she needs to get out of this. I hope his brother tells her, and I hope she runs for the hills. You're right about the cellulose, but is OP using cellulose or literal sawdust?
Yeah.
We don't know. What happens, though, if you eat sawdust? Sawdust is a human carcinogen. Eating sawdust can lead to intestinal blockages as well as other gastrointestinal issues. He says she's been losing weight. I wonder if it's actually just causing
She's all corked up.
serious issues.
Yeah, because I think with the whole thing of like cellulose and like the Subway breads, people go like cellulose. Well, cellulose is found in sawdust. It's not like, I don't think Subway is dumping actual sawdust in. It's just like, it's derived from that.
Well,
I
these
guess,
are the dangers that people have when everyone thinks they're a doctor, right? It's like
That's a good point.
Look, man,
you don't understand this shit. You're not he's clearly not a nutritionist. He's not a doctor. He's not even a fitness trainer or anything. And he's trying to make all these executive decisions over her health. And his only measurement is weight, which is not an accurate measurement of health.
That's the thing
and
too.
so
Yeah.
he's so clearly, obviously focused on.
Yeah,
I want my girlfriend to be hotter.
He's just poisoning her.
He's truly a monster.
Crazy.
Well, beyond asshole, actual terrifying man. If that woman watches these stories, run. I hope someone tells her. God. Am I the asshole for adding olive oil to my girlfriend's meals?
Oh no.
What?
Oh no, I think I know where this is going.
Really?
I feel like we've seen these guys before.
Okay.
Oh.
I, a 24-year-old male, have been with my girlfriend, Mari, a 22-year-old woman, for 2 years. Mari is a fitness buff. She's all about healthy eating, exercise, and weightlifting, and I love that about her. The problem started a few months ago. Mari used to have really bad body image problems around when we first started going out. It was harmful, bad for her, and bad for her mind. She's taken incredible strides to fix her body image problems, such as therapy and slowly incorporating more food into her meals. She hasn't had a flare-up of those problems for the last year, and I am very proud of her. However, as of late, I feel that her body image problems have flared up with some changes in her lifestyle. She wakes up at 5 a.m. every day to go on a run, her portions are considerably smaller, and she goes weightlifting 5 days a week with Pilates on the other 2. To me, it seemed that her intense and strict regimen was from her body image problems, because she's shed off the curves she gained when she started her recovery. I really liked her curves, and she's become rather lean now. I voiced my concerns to her, and she told me that she's currently on a cut following her bulk. This is where I might be the asshole. I was still very worried about her, so I started sneaking olive oil into her meals. I do a majority of the cooking, but she preps the ingredients for her meals, weighs and measures for macros in her tracking app. She isn't allergic or anything, but I've been adding enough to add a considerable amount of extra calories. This has been going on for about 3 months, and she's frustrated that she's plateaued in her progress and even gained a bit of weight. That is until she found the empty olive oil bottles in the garbage bin. Mari does the grocery shopping, and she asked me about the bottles. There were about 5 from this week.
Oh my God.
That is so much. God, their toilet must be insane.
I just love the plural bottles. And
5 bottles? Because she does not recall buying or even seeing olive oil in our cabinets. I usually sneak the bottles off to dispose of them, but hadn't had the chance. So I came clean and told her that when I cook, I add some olive oil and just didn't tell her. She got very upset with me and asked why I would do that. I told her that I voiced my concern about her fitness obsession many times, but she brushed me off. So as her partner, I took measures into my own hands. She's currently staying at her sister's. How I saw it was that I was protecting my partner from another downward spiral. But my brother, who is a gym rat, said that I was an ass for doing that to her, regardless of my concerns. Am I the asshole? Edit, the bottles are really small. I wasn't forcing her to suck back a 500 milliliter bottle daily. I do believe as well that 2 of the empty bottles were left over from the last time. Still.
Dude, if you're
Called
gonna sneak olive oil in, what else are you gonna sneak into her food?
Yeah.
That's controlling as F.
Yeah.
This is the flip side of, I mean, the other one was arguably worse, but we had the guy who was putting sawdust in his.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
what?
of.
But this is not the first time that we've had boyfriends trying to with their partner's food.
Well, and the major tell is, and he only hit it in there in one sentence, was he was like, I really liked her curves, and now they're going away. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, okay, this is a you thing. Like, this is you.
Absolutely.
And you're like, I'm gonna take her health into my hands, and also not tell her. And also think about, like, then she's gonna be questioning her diet and probably trying to cut in other places.
And then flare up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's.
This makes me crazy.
She will probably break up with him, because if she hasn't, in this story, broken up with him, because how frustrating is that? Because, you know, you can question whether it's healthy or not to be working out that amount, but she is putting in that work, and she's been frustrated for months at not seeing the results that she's been putting in. Her partner was sabotaging her work and not telling her. It's so insane.
How much olive oil are we talking?
It's a lot of olive oil.
It's gotta be a
All right.
Gotta be a lot.
Let's see if there's answers in the comments here.
You're the asshole. Huge. This only hurts her and will likely make an unhealthy relationship she has with food even worse.
Yep.
In the comments, he says he only adds 3 to 4 tablespoons-ish per meal. That's a lot. And he puts it in her protein shake too. Oh. Ew. They don't recommend more than 1 to 2-ish tablespoons a day for olive oil, so he's at least tripling the recommended amount. Protein shake and dinner, more if he's doing this to lunches and snacks. And excess olive oil can cause diarrhea, acne, rashes, and if he's using too much, it can actually possibly trash your kidneys or cause low blood pressure that can lead to fainting. And that's in addition to sabotaging her mental health and setting her back in her recovery. And now she'll have trust issues with people, or maybe just boyfriends. Handling her food. Jesus fucking Christ. Lastly, someone said, did it ever occur to you that the next step for her could have been cutting calories even more? You might have endangered her to relapse into unhealthy habits. She wanted to be leaner, and you manipulated her diet to make her gain weight. Because why? You like her more curvy? How about supporting her for making healthier choices and being proud of her? You deliberately sabotaged her. I'm concerned for your relationship, but even more for her mental health. You're the asshole, my dude.
Yeah. I just looked it up. 4 tablespoons of olive oil is almost 500 calories. That he's
it's an absurd amount. No, for like, I meal prep for my whole week. And when I'm like meal prepping for my whole week, I'm using less than 4 tablespoons of olive oil. So that's like a week of olive oil.
Yeah.
He's also putting in a protein shake, so it's not even being cooked.
That's disgusting.
It's not even being cooked. Like, it's not like, there's none of it's burning off. That's just pure olive oil in that. That's disgusting. It's a lot. It's too much of a daily amount.
I hate to compare this to murder, but I'm gonna, because so many partners sneak in little bits of like poison into their partner's food to slowly kill them. I know that sounds insane, but if you can sneak something into someone's food for that many months because you want to have power over them to do something you want, I mean, that's like it's a gateway drug. Olive oil.
Also, it's so vulnerable. It's so vulnerable to be like, hey, I was slipping in something that you are putting in your body. Like, that's just
insane.
Scary.
And also, like, it's so weird because like this is something that maybe could have been overcome with like a single conversation about like, hey, like, I'm concerned about your health.
Yeah.
You say you're cutting, blah, 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 blah. Like, you can have a conversation about it, and then maybe you could figure something out.
And he did talk to her. I voiced my concerns, and she told me that she's currently on a cut following her bulk, which is a thing people do.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't really talk extensively of feeling like, I think she's in danger. I think her body's in danger. He mentions the curves. He mentioned, like, I think my theory, and I mean, we don't know these people, but my theory, same with the other stories we've gotten, is like, no, you wanted to control her body.
He's way less safe.
You are more attracted. You want her body to look a way that is more attractive to you.
He wants control over her.
Yeah, but you don't get to control people's bodies. And also, even if she did have a severe problem, even if it was dangerous, and people were like, oh man, this.
Get a professional.
But you don't do this.
No.
This isn't going to help. Like, that is a psychological.
Weird.
It's a psychological thing, and if you don't treat the psychological aspect of it, you're not fixing it. Verdict is asshole.
Def.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
Any story of someone manipulating someone's food and not telling them, immediate asshole.
Yep.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
For results that they want.
Yeah, no matter what.
Or they think the partner wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a 30-year-old woman. My husband, who's 34, keeps sneaking out in the middle of the night. Maybe he's a robber.
Okay.
Maybe
Let's
he's
break it
just a
down.
serial killer.
Maybe he's a robber. He could be sleepwalking. Maybe he's going to his favorite coffee shop.
Throw away because my husband knows about my Reddit account. As the title says, my husband keeps sneaking out in the middle of the night. For basically as long as I can remember, I've gotten up at around 4 a.m. or so to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. That's just how my body is. And lately when I do so, I won't find my husband in bed. In fact, I can't find him anywhere. He does have pretty bad insomnia, and sometimes on really bad nights, I would find him in the living room watching TV or playing a video game. Also, it's not every night. It's maybe every other night that he is sneaking out. I'm trying not to let it bother me, but this has been going on for about a month now, and I'm starting to get really annoyed/worried about where he's going and what he's doing at such weird hours of the night. It happened again the other night, and I stayed up until he decided to come home at 6 a.m.
Hell yeah.
Mind you, I don't know how long he was actually gone, just that he hadn't been there from about 4 a.m. until then. I admit I was pretty cranky and annoyed when he got home, and I asked him where he'd been. He told me not to worry about it and let's go back to sleep. Okay. I kept pushing, and he said he just goes out for a walk. I wasn't satisfied with that answer, but the conversation kept going back to him just taking a walk to burn any extra energy or to clear his head when he couldn't sleep. So I decided to drop it as I was pretty tired and had to be up in an hour to go to work anyway. Well, it happened again tonight / this morning. I got up to go to the bathroom and I couldn't find my husband anywhere. Again, I was really annoyed, and I stayed up to see when he would get home. It was 5:35 a.m., so that's an improvement at least. When he got home, he looked so sleepy and climbed into bed, and without saying a word, I got out and took my pillow and blanket and came to the couch where I am now. I know it's petty to give him the silent treatment, but I'm frustrated and I just want to be by myself right now. I can hear him snoring, so I guess his walk worked. I'm not sure what to do now. I'm exhausted and honestly just want to know the truth. Should I confront him? I'm not big on confrontation, but at the same time, I really want to know what's going on. I'm just like...
He's going to his goon cave.
Yeah, he's going to his goon cave. I'm like, either seems pretty obvious, like that's very questionable behavior. If you're gonna try to brush that off,
no, that's.
I'm like, that's.
What did he say? He's like, don't worry about it.
Don't fucking worry about it.
Let's go to bed.
Okay, Batman. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like you're out in the middle of the night.
We didn't consider that option.
Whoa, I didn't think. Wait.
What if he's Batman, guys? No, it's just like, oh no, I'm going for a walk at 4 a.m. at night. It's like, okay,
bro, that's
man.
dangerous.
That's really bad.
I bet you can do that, Mr. Man. But I can't.
You must be careful. There's tapirs out in the woods. Some comments. Okay, I've suffered from insomnia all my life and done what your husband's doing a lot. Going for a long walk isn't uncommon, but when you're living with someone else, you owe it to them to sit down and talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
Not after you walk in or before you go to bed, but before or after dinner, when you're both thinking clearly. He needs to talk to you. Someone else said, why should OP automatically have to just take his word? Would he do that if the roles were reversed? Even if he was just walking. Walking for 2+ hours seems excessive. I would absolutely have a conversation with him and explain, though you shouldn't have to unless he's just dense, that odd behavior warrants questioning and he shouldn't be shocked by that. OP said, and that's basically my issue. Why are the walks so long? Am I crazy for thinking it's weird to take hours-long walks at 4 a.m.? It is crazy. It's crazy to do that and to not be communicating to your partner, like, super huge.
Especially when they ask.
Cause I'm thinking, if he is going for 2-hour-long walks in the middle of the night, if something happens to him and he just doesn't show up and she just wakes up and she's like, I don't know where the he is. He disappeared in the night. It's like, that's why you communicate shit. Like,
I'd hire a really buff, sexy male actor to come in for the 2 hours he's gone.
Or she could his best friend.
Or she could be his best friend. But then he would come back and I'd be like, oh, he was just here while you were gone because you have to go on that walk. I'm not touching him or anything. I just needed to.
He's just like, how's it going, man? He's like eating cereal. He's just like, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes, who is this? I'd be like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Good.
Got him.
Update. All right.
No, I don't want to hear.
Do you think this goes good or bad?
Can you say update? He was building me a castle in the middle of the night. And I'm actually so happy because my castle's huge.
I want to know, what's your, I haven't read anything.
Yes.
Is it good or bad? Do you think it's going to be a funny thing?
My prediction is he's training for like a decathlon.
Yes.
Does that involve walking?
A decathlon has a lot more than walking.
He's going out in the middle of the night and finding dogs that need help, bringing them back to health, and he's not telling her because one day he will give her all the dogs.
All right.
Oh, no.
Hello all. I wanted to provide you with an update. Apologies for taking so long to update. My life has been a whirlwind for the past 8 months.
Because I have a bunch of puppies in a castle.
And I honestly haven't been in the best mental state. Also, trigger warning, this update touches on topics of depression, drug use, and cheating. So about 2 months ago, a police car pulled up to my house and 2 police officers knocked on my door. They told me they were there to do a wellness check on my husband's name because his girlfriend hadn't heard from him in 3 days and was worried about him. They asked me if I was his sister or what my relationship to him was. I told them I was his wife, and beyond that, I can't even remember what I said. I was in shock. I just remembered them leaving and me closing the door and crying. He was at work at the time, and when he got home, he could tell I was upset. I mean, it was obvious because every time I tried to speak, I would just start crying again. Eventually, it got to the point that I guess he knew he had to come clean, and he told me everything. So yeah, I found out he had been cheating on me with an ex-coworker of his. Not only this, but had been supporting her and her 2 kids because she couldn't hold down a job and he didn't want them to end up homeless. The reason she couldn't hold down a job is because she was/is into drugs and would go on week-long benders where she just wouldn't show up to work. And he says that about a year ago, she called him out of the blue and cried to him saying that she was about to lose her apartment because her husband was cheating on her and had basically vanished. Ironic, I know. Leaving her with all the bills that had to be paid. And her 2 kids needed food and new stuff for school. He says that at first, it was just financially supporting her and her kids until he started doing the drugs with her, and that's when things escalated. He told me he had to cut things off with her 3 days before the police showed up, and that's why they were doing a wellness check. So I asked him if that was where he was going when he was sneaking out. He said yes for the most part. He also said, to be fair, I really would just go on a walk or drive around sometimes. Okay.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God. Sometimes you
Oh
were
my
just doing
God,
that.
dude! You have no idea the wave of relief. that
Thank
just swept over
God.
me.
To be fair, I really was just going on a walk or drive around.
Shut the up, you fucking piece of shit.
And I know there are going to be questions about how I didn't notice the missing money. So here's my answer. We have separate bank accounts. He pays for his bills and I pay for mine. And our joint bills come out of my account and he pays me back whatever the total is for those bills. And well, he never stopped paying me for those bills. And household things that were in his name never got shut off. So I never had a reason to think anything was wrong in that area. I have been so emotionally numb for these past 2 months that he has been begging me for about 2 months to make a decision about our relationship. As in divorce or work things out because being in limbo is really stressful for him.
Yeah, babe, you're stressing me out.
He's like, I haven't been getting the best sleep. I have to wake up in the middle of the night and do my other life and then get right back.
I honestly just don't want to even put any energy into thinking about the future at all right now. All of my friends and family are telling me to get a divorce, but I don't know. Everything had been great up until 8 months ago, and our lives are so intertwined. That feels so stupid to say, but I'm basically paralyzed with numbness. I did, however, make an appointment for couples therapy, so I guess I will see how that goes. He seems up to it. And I just want to extend a thank you to all the people that took the time to read this and the last one. I know the typical response for all of these, and it is my instinct, it's just be like, divorce, get out. But I'm like, really, come on. Like, he has shown you so little respect.
Yeah, but I also get it. I've had, in my relationships, it's easier, like what she said about the shared community and the shared life.
Oh yeah, your life's
it's
intertwined.
so hard. And you're like, I'll lose so many friendships. I'd rather just like keep this and then not lose others.
Right.
But like, at this point, it's like financially scary to live with this person.
Oh my God,
Like,
yeah.
But I totally get it. She just needs to like be reminded like that she's not alone.
There's a lot of elements here because not only was he completely lying to her, and it's like, sure they have separate bank accounts, but like doing such a huge financial thing and he cheated on several layers here. And she's like, things were great up until 8 months ago. And I'm like, I'm questioning that. Things were not as bad as they are right now because things are fucking hell.
Or you weren't privy to.
And it's entirely on him that he made your guys' life living hell.
I can't believe he's like, please, it's been 2 months. Tell me what you want to do. I'm living in limbo. This is so uncomfortable.
I also don't love that it's like, I'm exhausted. I can't think of the future. I did, however, make an appointment for couples therapy, so I guess I will see how that goes. He seems up to it. I'm just like, end it there. End it. Like, if he's not the one making those steps to fixing your relationship, like, I do think, like, I will say at the end of all of this, like, there are cases of people, like, cheating and they find a way. I do think your relationship is over and you have to start a new one. But I think if the person who cheated isn't doing everything in their power to like, fix things, it's like, no, you shouldn't, the person who got cheated on shouldn't be the one trying to fix it. Like, that, get out. I don't know. But it's super complicated. If I was in this situation, I understand why you want to fix it in your head, but it's like, this guy is gonna do this again.
This sucks.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for throwing out my girlfriend's dolls? Typically, I would say on this show, anytime you're throwing something out or deleting something of someone's without their permission, typically you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Dolls.
Last time I was here, it was deleting the Animal Crossing island, and now it's dolls. Can no one have anything fun anymore?
This is a 24-year-old guy with a girlfriend who's 23. My 23-year-old girlfriend and I have been together long distance for 3 years. We just moved in together. I moved across the country for her after finishing college. I always knew my girlfriend liked creepy shit.
Okay, judgment number one.
Like cucumbers. I always knew my girlfriend liked creepy shit, like haunted houses and scary movies, but I didn't realize she liked to collect creepy shit. I had seen her apartment over video calls, but there was one thing she had neglected to show me: a shelf of creepy ass dolls. When I was walking through the apartment for the first time, I noticed it in the corner of the living room, and holy shit. I asked her, and she said that she likes thrifting for old abandoned dolls, cleaning them, getting them new clothes, doing their hair, then throwing them on this shelf. Then she started introducing me to them. They all had names, and there were a couple really rough ones that she said she had since she was a kid, or were her mom's, or some were her grandma's. The other 4 were thrifted. She said the ones she thrifts and gets into good enough shape she gives to disadvantaged kids at the daycare she works at. She only keeps the ugly ones. I thought I'd be okay with it, but every morning I just dreaded looking at them. They made me so uncomfortable. I tried buying her squishmallows, thinking maybe she could collect something normal instead. She loved them, but she still is all about the dolls. I then suggested she give them to her kids at daycare or display them at daycare instead, but she was worried they'd be damaged or taken home by kids by accident. I think she realized I didn't like them, so she asked if I wanted her to move them into the closet. I said yes and thought that would be it. Well, one of my friends flew out to visit, and when we were hanging out, he dropped a bowl of popcorn. I asked him to grab the vacuum out of the closet, and he almost shit his pants. The dolls' heads all poked out of the box, and their creepy little eyes stared into his soul. Horror movie shit. I was so embarrassed, and my girlfriend was apologetic, but had a bit of a laugh. Honestly, that was the last straw. Those fucking things wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. The next day, which is today, is garbage day. So I took the box out and tossed it while my girlfriend was away. It's gone. My girlfriend came home and I started sweating. I told my friend we were leaving to get dinner. She's been calling and texting, but I want to give her time to cool off. My friend is saying I'm a bit of a jerk, but I genuinely feel that I had to do it.
Dude. To me, this man does not want to understand his girlfriend. No. She clearly, whatever, man. She wants to, these dolls mean something to her, just like the cucumber lady. It's like, why don't you understand your girlfriend? Why don't you understand why she wants the dolls rather than being like, nope, gotta get rid of them. I'm justified because I am uncomfortable. It's like, dude, yeah, dolls, okay. Did I sleep with 15 Barbie dolls on a thing that were like perfectly set? Yes, I did. Was that a little creepy? Maybe. Whatever, man.
Did they move around every night without me doing that?
Did they go, wake up, and then
Yeah. Did they whisper secrets? No.
Yes.
The good news is I've seen enough horror movies to know that those things are coming back, so she's fine. The point is the act. Because it's trashy.
They're going like, you threw us away in the trash.
You made a mistake. Don't worry. We don't know.
God.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, like, look, it's justified to be creeped out by dolls.
Yes.
That's a phobia for some people. But also, like, to just make the command decision to throw away anything of your partner's is nuts. It's also nuts to, like, he was like, we've been long distance for a long time, and I moved in, and I had no idea she liked dolls like this. It's like, what do you talk about?
Yeah. Well, clearly she
3 years.
3 years.
Maybe she didn't. Yeah, 3 years you never visited
But
her
he said
apartment?
he knew she loved creepy shit, scary movies, all this stuff, and then he's like, but she collects it? It's like, well, yeah. It's like,
yeah, of course. If she, I don't know. I just feel like this guy wants her to be, you just never throw away someone's stuff without talking to them.
Yeah.
She put them away in a closet for you, man.
Yeah. And like all you had, the fix there was like, let's get a different bin or a lid to put on it.
Yeah.
And I think it's not even a matter of him not understanding his girlfriend. He doesn't understand people because his whole thing was like, that's too creepy for me, a 24-year-old man. Could you give it to those preschoolers? Could you bring it into the preschool class?
I know. What the hell was he? What was that suggestion?
Also, I feel like a lot of these dudes are embarrassed by their friends or their mom.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I get being early in a relationship, being kind of like embarrassed by your partner by doing stuff. I do understand that. But it's also like, okay, are you just gonna like throw it away so that you never have to see that side of them.
Yeah, it's this lie he's telling himself. I mean, this is what controlling people must tell themselves, that it's like, oh, but I can change her. Like him trying to buy her Squishmallows, and I'm like, it's completely polar opposite to her personality.
Yeah, they're not creepy.
And also how patronizing too. It's like, I'm gonna hide the medicine in a little piece of cheese for her. Like, oh, I'm gonna make her get rid of the dolls, but isn't this better? It's like,
It's so shitty.
Here's what I want to know. I just want to know from her. I want to know what the dolls like do for her, how they're excited.
I mean, look, I don't understand. I hate dolls. I also don't love like creepy stuff. I'm not like a collector. You're more in line with that.
Yes,
I love
and I
creepy
do
shit.
own 3 creepy dolls as
Yeah.
a creepy
You do?
stuff collector. 2 of them are in my car at the moment.
Wait, they ride with you?
Yeah, they're my ride or dies.
He
No.
leaves them at home, but they show up in his car.
Yeah, no, that part's not up to me.
It's not up to me whether they come to work or not with me, man.
Doll's gonna doll. No, I love doing estate sales and thrifting stuff. I never spend much. I just like to find little random treasures that are like cheap, and I'm like, oh, this is cool for me. And sometimes creepy stuff is a part of that. And so last time I did it, and I just haven't unloaded them yet. Like I found like 2 like perfect like porcelain sort of jester dolls, and I love clown stuff, and I'm like, that's kind of spooky, that's kind of cool. $5, hell yeah.
You do love clowns. I remember
do.
this about you.
There's the clown doll in the attic story too, which I think I already told on this, but
You like that stuff.
I don't like clowns, but I love creepy shit. But dolls and mirrors, I do not fuck with.
because I got a lot of mirrors too.
Oh, honey, no.
They're all-
All the demons from the underworld come through the mirror.
Is that what's going on?
Everybody knows this.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
And the dolls.
But then how else are you gonna get arcane secrets from the nether beyond?
I don't know.
But
I'll have to figure it out.
I know a lot of people who are into creepy stuff, and it's just like they get an enjoyment out of it, and that's just who they are. And this guy is thinking he can just throw away the dolls, and it's like, but you can't throw away that part of her personality.
No.
Like that's who she is, and you have to accept that.
Also, was he out to dinner while he was writing this? He's like, she's calling
I know,
me
what the
right
hell is
now. The friend's like,
I'm gonna give her some time to cool off. It's like, you're so condescending.
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
A bunch of comments here. I think we know what the verdict is. You're the asshole. Not only did you throw away something that didn't belong to you, but items that held great sentimental value to your girlfriend. These aren't dolls that she found down at the Walmart. They belong to her mom and grandma. This is unforgivable.
Yeah.
She already compromised by putting them in a closet since you didn't like them. You'd better hope that it wasn't garbage pickup day and get them back. I hope the dolls are possessed by evil spirits and haunt you. OP said, they're gone for good. I watched and waited for the garbage truck to go by. It just isn't normal to keep ugly dolls. She knows they're ugly, but she keeps them because they remind her of her mom. I think maybe she could just put a picture up or something instead now. But no one would ever take her seriously when she's got these weird-ass dolls around.
You mean you won't take her seriously? Dude!
That comment's almost so intense that I'm like, is this real?
That's wild to me.
Someone else said, you're the asshole. Granted, the dolls thing would creep me out too, but you don't throw away someone else's stuff. If you feel so uncomfortable about those dolls, move out and break up with that person. He responded saying, I don't want to break up, and even if she dumps me, I still feel like I did the right thing. I got rid of her only flaw. She'll have an easier time keeping her next boyfriend because he won't have to deal with this.
Oh no, this man is insane.
Yeah.
I got rid of her only flaw.
Now she's perfect.
Now I can put her on the shelf and she can be my little doll.
He's creepier than the dolls.
He literally is the doll maker.
He's the doll maker.
Oh my God, did we just come up with a horror movie?
Yes. Cut this whole thing. Cut this whole thing.
Cut it,
Trademark
cut it.
and
Pitch
trademark.
session begins
Done.
now.
Yeah. All right. So there's these dolls. He makes them.
Update.
Oh God.
I got many messages asking for an update, but I was banned from our Am I the Asshole, so here it is.
How are you banned?
How do you get banned?
I think that's your answer.
The mods are like, God, you are such an asshole. I went home and my girlfriend asked me where her dolls were. She'd had a bad day and assumed that I had moved them somewhere after they spooked my friend, but she really wanted them because they're very comforting for her. I sat her down and told her the truth. To be honest, I expected to be yelled at. It would have almost been easier, but instead she just started sobbing. It reminded me of when her grandma died. I think that's when it sunk in how bad I f***ed up.
Her too.
I slept on the couch with my friend, and today I swore to do everything I could to correct my massive up. Unfortunately, there's no way we could possibly get the originals back. They would have ended up compacted and heading to a massive landfill outside the city. So I texted my girlfriend what kind of dolls they were. Most of them she knew, but one of her grandma's dolls were handmade, so that one obviously I can't replace. I started scouring the internet looking for antique shops, thrift stores, pawn shops, etc. I ordered a couple online that were the same as the ones she had and found one similar to one she had at one of the stores. I didn't realize how expensive dolls were. She hasn't broken up with me yet, but I'm now expecting it after what everyone has told me. I'm sleeping on the couch again tonight, and I'm looking to book a flight home. I'm planning on continuing to pay my half of rent for the year, since she doesn't make much money, and I'll be living with my parents. If she asks for money to try replacing all the dolls, I'll pay it. It's the least I can do. Thank you, everyone, for your brutal honesty. Update number 2.
Oh, God.
This is the girlfriend. I have killed him.
This is the doll, Maria.
We talked and she hadn't forgiven me, but wanted to make it work. I made the mistake of showing her this Reddit account and she ended up changing her mind. She broke up with me, but is letting me stay on the couch until I am able to get a transfer. It shouldn't take long since I've been with my job for a while and only transferred to this city recently, so I'll be flying back to my hometown early next week. She's going to be trying to find similar dolls, and we agreed that she'd send me the receipt and I'd send her the money to reimburse her. That's the end of it, I guess. Wow, so she was still trying to make it work after all that shit, and he's like, by the way, here's all this Reddit shit. And she's
Where he
like,
said, like,
"Get the
yeah, her
fuck
next
outta here."
boyfriend could deal with this
Dude,
shit.
she's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
She is amazing. She was vulnerable enough to be like, this is what this means to me. And she still tried to like figure out how to make it work. God damn. I hope those dolls, they just all get in a car and they go, do you know where he lives? Yeah, I got his address.
One of those little
the wheel is this big.
one of those little red play school cars just like tumbling.
And there's a big truck going like, they see a little car. Feels very Toy Story.
Terrifying.
Like, you know why I pulled you over, right? You can't be driving like that.
Yeah, they're like, F you.
I think I'm so scared of dolls, but I think I would be more scared to throw them away because I'm a skeptic. You guys know this. Like, I'm not like an avid believer in ghosts or demons, but I also like to hedge my bets.
Yes.
And if I'm like, if there's a 1 in a trillion chance those dolls are haunted, I don't want to piss them
And they love skeptics.
I know.
They love
I'm like, I'm the guy who'd get murdered in a horror movie, so I'm like, I need
From
to
the shins up.
I make sure I'm gonna be like nice to them.
No?
He wouldn't be murdered first.
They'd make him watch.
They'd make him. They'd make him watch.
They'd make him watch.
Exactly. And then he'd be alone and be like, no, no, and the dolls would go, I think he's in here. And then they walk up to him and he
Little
goes,
tippy toes.
I believe, and they go, good.
Slice. But like nothing happens and it looks like drip.
And then I wake up, and then I'm like,
Wake up, and you are a doll. Like the fact that he's like, I'm just gonna transfer back. I like can't wait for the convo with his boss where she's gonna be like, what'd you and he's like, no. I was like,
Yeah, what is he?
fucked up, huh?
What is he telling his parents?
I don't know.
Botched it.
I also love that he's like, hey, can I show you this Reddit story where I tell our whole life story on here?
Yeah.
What was he thinking?
Where he talks about fixing her flaws.
Yeah.
And trying to bait her.
The next
with
boyfriend will thank me.
squishmallows.
No, this
perfect.
This guy is dumb as hell.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Time for the girlfriend to take out the trash.
My wife, who's 28, and I are rowing about my brother-in-law's gift, a painting of us in medieval costume. Okay, so they
What's
are.
rowing mean?
They're fighting.
Oh.
So I think this is in the UK.
Oh, they're having a row?
They're having a row. Rowing. So this is in the UK somewhere, I'm assuming. So my brother-in-law is a decent amateur artist, but nothing great. This Christmas, he was short of money, I imagine. He is a PhD student, so he decided to paint us a surprise gift. The painting is of my wife and I, dressed as a medieval knight and lady. I have been told that it is because my wife likes the Ballad of Tamerlane, and I am a fan of pre-Raphaelites. Both of those things are true, but I can't see their influence in it. So it does look like me, and it is flattering. However, it doesn't look like my wife at all, which she admits to an extent. It looks like a much older woman. Also, the people are a bit proportion. It looks like the kind of thing incredibly self-obsessed people in films might have. It is laughable to think someone might have a portrait of themselves on the wall dressed as a knight or a lady. I'm not into the whole fantasy thing either. I am absolutely certain that people will laugh at it and then at us for it. On seeing it, my initial reaction was that he was trolling us and that no one in their right mind could believe we would want such a thing. He has been to our house and he knows that we are very choosy with our art, which is original, by professionals, and nothing like what he has given us. Apparently my wife thinks we should actually display it, but the mere sight of it makes me cringe. It is totally hateful to me. Damn.
What the hell?
So my wife is angry at my reaction because he has put a lot of work into it, which I won't deny. She wants an apology for being unpleasant. I need to clarify. He wasn't there when I first saw it. She brought it home. I feel like if I back down, then the damn thing will be on my wall, and I can't tolerate it being anywhere in view. I know it is unreasonable to actually ask to throw it away, but I hard veto people being able to see it. Also, my reaction was honest. I do hate it. I'm willing to accept that he didn't do it deliberately, but I struggle to think of a gift I could have hated more. Basically, I feel that it will make us the butt of the joke, and I don't want that to happen in my own house. Thoughts? Edit. Can't stress enough. I have not spoken to my bro-in-law about this, just between my wife and I. Also, great for you if you would hang it up. I don't want to. It's in my house, and I feel entitled to decorate it my own way. Damn, dude.
Why is he so worked up
You
about
are
it?
a piece of shit, man. It's one of those things that if I saw, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's
even
fun.
if it's really well done or not. It's just like, oh, it's you as knights and.
Yeah, I have a friend who's married and they have like Renaissance style paintings like photoshopped on their walls of them, and it's hilarious.
I've seen that type of stuff too. I don't think anything of it. People are allowed to have whatever kind of art they want in their house.
He's mad that she wants it up, or he's just mad at it?
Both.
Both, but he definitely doesn't want it up because he's like, everyone's gonna laugh at it and laugh at us.
How
I'm
many
like,
people
no.
are coming to your house?
Yeah, and like, how judgmental are your friends?
And it's not like it's gonna be freaking on the front door. Like, we have art where it's like, oh, this is my favorite piece. I'm gonna put it in the living room where everyone can see. And then there's like, oh, here's just like the silly one that I like or whatever, and I'm gonna hang it like in the bathroom, you know?
Yeah.
There's places to put it. And him saying like, I won't deny that this person worked so hard on this, but it's like, okay, you're very unempathetically admitting that this person put a lot of work into it.
I know, and it's, and what the crazy thing is that after this, you know, he won't age, but the portrait will, and that might be more upsetting to him.
I don't get it. Is that a movie reference?
It's a portrait of Dorian Gray.
Oh. I didn't catch that.
Sick, dude.
Sorry,
is this a Benjamin Button joke?
I made an Oscar Wilde joke. He's immortal, but he has a painting in his attic that constantly ages and gets more decrepit, and that's what
God, that just
ruins
got
him.
so many views, and I'm just in the video live. Do you know what I mean? An Oscar Wilde joke? I'm feeling the clicks. Boy, if that's not the promo, I don't know what is.
You're not invited to Sniper Chess Part 2.
Hey! Don't joke like that.
You're not coming to the next battle. Some comments here. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just weird, but it sounds like a pretty cool, hilarious gift. Sure, something you'd probably hang on the bathroom door because it fits absolutely nowhere, but still. And someone said, surely you have an out-of-the-way spot you can hang it. Pretty egocentric to think it is meant as a personal insult to you. Be a gracious brother-in-law and chill. OP responded, saying, I'm willing to accept that the initial reaction was over the top. That said, it is hard to think of something I would find less appealing. Damn, they minus 37 downvotes on that. Chat or the comments hate this guy.
Yeah, what an
rightfully so.
ego. My goodness.
Someone said, I don't want to. It is my house, and I feel entitled to decorate it my own way. Where does your wife live? Is what the comment says. Yeah, I agree.
It feels like one of those guys that like gets mad at you when you post a picture on your Instagram that's just like kind of not flattering to him.
Yeah.
It's like, you should have checked in with me before you posted that.
No,
I look awful.
No, this guy just sounds like a bummer.
Yeah.
Sounds like an absolute bummer.
Have you ever gotten a gift that you hated?
The only time, and I feel bad because I genuinely thought it was a joke. When I was a kid, when I was like 10, someone got me a Mary-Kate and Ashley poster. And I was not, I was like your stereotypical, just like, I liked video games and stuff. So I remember getting it, I kind of laughed, and I was just like, oh, this is funny, this is like a funny joke. And my mom was like, don't and I was like, oh,
That's
yeah,
bizarre.
like, but I was like, oh yeah, like sick, like, honestly, today I wish I'd kept it because a Mary-Kate and Ashley poster is pretty cool.
legit.
Pretty sick.
That's aged very well.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, what the I was like, oh, like,
Yeah.
It is kind of funny to think that like OP really thinks, or at least thought for a while, that this guy was like painting this painting, like, I'm gonna make him so mad with this painting.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna make his head just a little too big for his body.
Yeah. Also, someone painting a picture of you is so cool.
Huge.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
had that. Someone painted a picture of me and them together, and it's not the best, but I have it to this very day because it's like that's so cool.
I love
like
that stuff.
in our high school, and it was so cool. I was like, "Whoa, you painted us."
That's a lot of dedication and stuff. You know, I think it's like people do a lot of fan art of us, and I always think it's really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of tell just like right out the gate that this guy was a jerk. He's like, yeah, he's an artist, but like not anything of note. Like was very.
Yeah, he's a douche.
He's like, yeah, we have art in our place, but it's by professionals. Like.
And they're originals by professionals.
Yeah.
Like you're a fuck you, dude.
Like he's leaving no room for compromise either.
He's making Baby Talk guy look like
honestly,
the
he should
Bachelor.
He should try being in a thumbnail. You learn to get over it real quick.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife to stop crying at Home Depot?
At Home Depot?
Specifically at Home Depot.
I'm wondering if he said, "Stop crying at Home Depot."
I thought you were gonna say like stop crying at Home Depot ads. Like,
That's funny. Just so good. My wife, a 27-year-old woman. Sorry, it got me. My wife, a 27-year-old woman. My wife, a 27-year-old woman, and I, a 27-year-old man, have been making trips to Home Depot to renovate our backyard. It's become a little date for us, and we enjoy the quality time. In March of 2022, my father-in-law suddenly passed away from a heart attack. I am very close with my wife's family and supported her through the grieving process. On Sunday, my wife insisted I skip NFL and go to Home Depot with her, as our order was ready for pickup. When we got to Home Depot, there was an extremely long lineup, so I'm already annoyed having to wait. Out of absolutely nowhere, my wife starts tearing up and crying in the middle of this long line. I ask her what's wrong, and she quietly tells me that the gentleman at the end of the line reminds her of her late father, my father-in-law, and she became very emotional and continues to cry. I got upset/embarrassed and told her to quit being so random since it's weird. Sorry.
stop being random.
Did you say so random? That's a tagline right there for you, Shane.
I know. I got upset/embarrassed and told her to quit being so random since it's a weird reason to cry, especially because the gentleman looks absolutely nothing like her father. I then told her she is tripping out for no reason and she ruined the vibe for Home Depot dates. On the car ride home, she called me insensitive and said it's not my right to talk about her father, even though it was obvious the Home Depot customer/employee looked nothing like my father-in-law. If it was a doppelganger, I would understand.
Bro.
What?
Dude. Oh my God.
Stop grieving, bro. We're in a Home Depot on a date.
So her father passed away a little over a year ago, maybe close to a year and a half ago. So, I mean, in my mind, for a lot of people, that's still very fresh.
Yeah.
Especially if it's your father. And you know, things work differently for different people. Yeah,
sure.
To him, maybe it didn't look anything like it, but for her, you never know.
Yeah, I like that she was reminded of her father, and he just said, "Nuh-uh."
No, he doesn't.
You're not reminded of him.
Yeah.
You know what? You know that there's always like subtle things in stories. The one that makes me just know this guy is the asshole is on Sunday, my wife insisted I skip NFL and go to Home Depot. I'm like, that's not necessary to this story.
You wouldn't do that, Mr. Broncos boy?
I would skip NFL.
Wow.
I could skip NFL.
Big fan.
I'll just read about it at the end of the day.
Did he say ruining the vibe of the date?
Yeah, he ruined the vibe of Home Depot dates.
The one that you had to beg me to skip some other shit for that I...
Yeah, the one I didn't even want to go to in the first place. It's so insane.
Also,
man.
I'm just now learning you can order like your Home Depot stuff ahead of time
and pick it up. Or maybe they placed an order that like maybe they got some stuff.
Oh, it gets like shipped to
we
Home
have to like get it ready. So it'll be ready in a couple days, so you come back and pick it up, maybe, because it's a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah, and if you order online, there are some things where it'll say deliver into the closest store.
Oh,
you can do that at IKEA.
Oh, actually, never mind. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I do that all the time. Yeah, actually, I'm doing that right now. Some comments here. Not the asshole, obviously. How dare she embarrass you in front of random strangers at the Home Depot? At Lowe's, I could understand. Fuck 'em. But Home Depot? No. Your standing there is much more important than her feelings. And it's not like you didn't comfort her. You correctly explained that the factual basis of her sadness was wrong. So at that point, she really should have changed her feelings back to happy, as we all can do. You're the asshole.
That's very funny.
Okay.
I love that.
It's like, obviously he's not thinking about what is the outcome going to be if I say this, but I'm just thinking in his head, he's like, okay, I'm just going to tell her she doesn't look like her dad, and she's going to be like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm good.
No, he was like clearly embarrassed.
It was a matter of him being embarrassed and wanting to protect his own embarrassment.
Dude, it's Home Depot. Like, who cares, man?
You're never going to see any of these people. Oh, wait, maybe they go there every
They're
Sunday.
on their Home Depot dig.
Yeah, there's no crying in Home Depot.
Yeah, you
pretty sure they have
cannot
a sign.
Cry at Home Depot.
Yeah.
You could just be like, oh, I got some sawdust in my eye. How are women marrying men with such horrifyingly low levels of empathy? Imagine breaking down over your father who passed away and your partner saying you're being random and ruining the vibes. I don't even have words for how much of an asshole you are. Yeah, the saying so random is very funny.
So random.
That's
It
the
is very
most silly circumstance to say so random to someone.
And it's
Yeah.
not random at all. She explained exactly why she was crying.
Yeah, it's not.
He's like, he thinks it's random because it's been a year already. Get over it.
He's
I'm
not coming
over it.
back.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
I don't even miss him anymore.
Yeah, for him to be like, I comforted her through her grieving process. Like, grieving just ends after like 6 months.
It's like the process ended.
Yeah, it's over. That guy is like at least like 20 pounds heavier than your dad. Looks nothing like him.
That guy's way handsomer than your dad.
Yeah.
I mean, his wife was she was so respectful still, saying that he was disrespectful. Like, she could have blown up on him, said, you're an asshole. I'm still grieving. Like, you don't have any right to tell me if I should or shouldn't be grieving at any given moment.
Right.
But she just says you're disrespectful. Like,
Yeah, she was actually being very civil in response.
And then this OP, he's going on here hoping that some people are going to be like, you're right, bro.
Nice, dude. What a loser. Also, putting myself in that space, if I'm out anywhere and I see someone crying, I don't think like, what a loser. Like, oh, how embarrassing you're crying.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. If I see someone crying, I usually am like, if they're with someone else who's comforting them, I'm going to be like, all right, like, not my business.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully what most of those people at that Home Depot were thinking. Like,
Right. I wonder if he was like, dang, I have to comfort her. This is going to, like,
sorry, you're sorry. Like,
I doubt anybody noticed.
that's true.
that's also true.
Like, it's not like she was like, I'm sure she wasn't like, ah! Like, I'm sure she was just like, crying.
It's one of those situations where, and I mean, maybe it's sad to say, but I'm like, people don't care as much as you think they do.
Yeah.
Oh.
People are at Home Depot, they probably are stressed trying to get their shit done.
Yeah.
And that's what they're focused on. They just be like, oh, she's crying. I wonder what she's crying about. Anyways, I got these 2x4s I got to buy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm worried about. Someone else said, I hope you're trolling, especially with the vibe comment. You're the asshole. Grief hits at different times and anything can trigger it. It doesn't have to be logical. Even if the guy didn't resemble her dad, it reminded her of him in some way. It could be as little as a mannerism, a walk, or how they were standing, and it brought forth emotions. Have some empathy and compassion. OP, in response to a now deleted comment, thank you. I understand I was insensitive, but these comments are also making me think I was indeed being a huge asshole. 44 downvotes.
Oh.
Which, I mean, hey, he was acknowledging he's being an asshole.
Sure.
It's the best you can do, I guess.
No, he says, making me think, maybe,
Making me
kind of,
think
sort of.
maybe.
Also, like, at least I was thinking about this guy in comparison to the gay wedding woman, where, like, at least he explained every part of it.
Sure.
And then we just like immediately knew the whole situation.
Yeah.
Whereas like the gay wedding woman was like, I sing a song.
So, like a self-aware asshole in denial.
Yeah.
Rather
Kind of,
than,
yeah.
Maybe he was sitting there going, maybe I'm the one who's so random.
No shade. You're
so random.
Thanks, guys. Asshole for telling my coworker I'm tired of hearing about her nerdy obsession. Okay, so here's someone else who's obsessed with stuff, I guess. So I have a coworker who's a woman who's 27 who is absolutely obsessed with Transformers. Yes, you read that right. She has a massive collection of action figures and frequently brings one or more of them to work to show off. She talks endlessly about the movies / cartoons / comics, video games to anyone who will stop long enough to listen. She writes a ridiculous amount of fanfic that she also has to talk about. Almost every vacation she takes revolves around going to a Transformers convention, etc. Most everyone else seems to think it's a fun personality quirk, or at least tolerates it, but it drives me bonkers because it's all she talks about. Like, get a life. Last month, a number of us were discussing things we missed the most that were gone / delayed due to the pandemic. Most people brought up visiting family, going to the movies, etc. Guess what this coworker missed the most? Yup, her conventions, which had all been canceled because apparently stuffing hundreds of nerds in a confined space isn't a good idea during a pandemic. I admit that I lost my shit at this point, and I told her, oh my God, will you just shut up? Nobody cares about your obsession. Find another hobby or just something else to talk about besides a stupid cartoon show and action figures. She clammed up and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. Since then, I haven't heard her say a peep beyond work-related stuff, which is actually a relief. But other coworkers are saying I was the asshole for telling her to shut up, and that they actually miss her ramblings about fictional robots. One of them even says I'm lucky this coworker didn't report me to HR. I don't think that what I said was HR worthy. If anything, I think I did everyone a favor by getting her to stop talking their ears off about something only she cares about. But I'm wondering if I could have worded it better.
I'm wondering if I could have worded it better.
I'm wondering if I could have told her to shut up in a better way.
Yeah.
And that coworker? Michael Bay.
Like they're all like, hey, what did you miss? And then, yeah, this is what I missed. She answered the question. You answered the question.
Hey, what did you miss about the pandemic? Probably my conventions. Oh, well, you shut up! Damn, that's so, it's definitely weird to hear, because in this field and being in YouTube, everyone has a nerdy obsession like this.
Mhm.
Like at Smosh, almost everyone is obsessed with something similar, in the similar vein.
Mhm.
I mean, we have people over at Smosh Games who are building Gundams, you know, and I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I can't imagine being upset about this.
Have you ever like sat down and listened to someone who's like really into the stats of like basketball or like baseball or like knows all the players
My brother,
and they're talking
yes.
yeah, it's like honestly Transformers makes a little bit more sense sometimes. Like really, if you're telling me like Todd McAvow is getting traded for like Tracy Evers and I'm just like going from the Broncos over to the Colts, I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that'd be crazy if someone was talking about how like, Broncos were the second ranked defense last year, but because their offense was number 32, that
My eyes are glossing over it. I have been to a Transformers convention.
Yeah?
Oh, of course.
Was it cool?
It's fascinating because it was definitely like, it wasn't even about like the show so much. It was about like the toys.
Yeah.
And like the collectors and all that. And I don't think I've ever been to an event that was this closely related to like the black market, because like the obsession with like how to get these toys, who has what, how much you're gonna pay for it, all of that, very much like I'm like, is this legal?
How much was the most expensive Transformer that you saw?
Oh God, they had like a Unicron in a box that was like, literally when these guys were describing it to me, they were describing it using my proportions to describe how big it was.
Okay.
How many U's was the Unicron? Is that what it's called? The unicorn?
They called it the Unicron. I could be getting that wrong. Don't.
To me, that
They're
sounds like
attacking
unicorn, but said wrong.
Okay,
so I don't know.
so the Unicron, how much do you think it was worth? Like,
The number there I heard was $3,000 for like a big Unicron. But like it was like people would walk up to tables and be like, okay, I'm looking for this, this, and this. Do you have this? No, and then would like move on. I was like,
kind of
this
awesome.
is crazy.
Wow.
I love it.
So he is the asshole.
Oh,
To get back on topic, he is the asshole.
This person's an asshole. I
Yeah.
mean, someone's allowed to, people are allowed to be obsessed with whatever they want to be obsessed
Yeah.
with. And they're allowed to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not interested, just be like, I got work to do. I'm sorry, I gotta go. That's also okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell someone to stop talking about what they're into.
Yeah.
You know?
The coworkers got a good point. They were like, honestly, we kind of miss it. Like, what
Yeah.
are we going to talk about all day? Like bank stuff? Like, bro, you took away my only joy.
Hey, Stacy. Yeah. Tell me about Megatron. Really? Yeah, I want to hear about Megatron again. Got comments here. Yeah, you're the asshole. I get it's weird, but it's what she's passionate about. I feel the same way when people won't shut up about sports.
Mm-hmm.
You're the asshole for how you talk to her. You could just say she's obsessed with Transformers. Instead, you write in an insulting manner and judge her over an interest. I get being irritated hearing about it, but the way you write about her, even just in this post, makes you the asshole. And someone else said, you're the asshole and a condescending one at that. Why are you letting her hobby bother you so much? Yeah, a person's obsession is no different than yours. And just because it's deemed nerdy or deemed like, every hobby you could boil down to being like, well, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Every hobby.
Yeah. That's kind of the point of a hobby, though. It's like it's something fun that you do, that you like, that you enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There is an update.
Ooh.
But the verdict was asshole.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool.
Seems hardcore.
Good.
Huge
Good.
asshole.
You're also going to the internet trying to like get everyone to get on board being like, yeah, I judge this person for a nerdy thing. It's like,
the place everyone goes to like share about their obsession.
Like, what do you think
nerdiest corner.
Yes.
Edit. Okay, I get it. I'm a piece of shit. Please stop messaging me telling me so. Update for those who care. I'm getting shunned and hated on enough at work that I'm currently looking for another job. I tried apologizing to my coworker and she gave an it's okay, but still refuses to talk to me. She's back to talking about robots again though, so I think she'll be okay. I will try to be more accepting of people's interests from here on out, even if it's too little too late for my current workplace.
I would also never speak to you again if you blew up at me, like while we're having like a conversation, then all of a sudden it's like, actually, can you shut the f up?
I think the way she remedies this is if she bought her like a $3,000 Unicron.
Yeah,
it needs a Unicron.
Yeah, this is something that can only solve via money. Like that's the only way to solve it.
You know, if you asked her, she'd probably be like, no, he's not that big of an asshole. He's a fucking Decepticon.
He's a Decepticon. Am I the asshole? Husband accused me of financial infidelity. Husband, who's 33, and I, 33-year-old woman, have been married for 10 years, together since college. Since starting out, we have made financial security a priority and have been able to achieve that, albeit with some good luck along the way. We both have good jobs, paying close to $200,000 each.
Wow.
Student loans were paid off within a few years. Both went to state schools with some scholarships, so didn't have a lot of debt to begin with. We live in a house I inherited from my grandmother, no mortgage, and don't have any credit card debt. We maxed out our 401ks and currently have 18 months of expenses in our emergency fund and are still adding to it. Our cars are both paid off and should be good for another 5+ years, and we don't have any credit card debt. Okay.
Please, God, please.
Manifesting that for me.
How did you this up? So everything was actually perfect, and I decided to blow it up.
Okay, ready?
We manage our finances in a hybrid manner. Joint accounts for bills and savings, and separate accounts for our fun money. We each get a pretty generous monthly allotment. The fun money is strictly for our individual expenses, hobbies, clothes, outings with friends, etc., and not for things like date nights, vacations, or larger joint purchases like household appliances and repairs, which come out of our joint account. In terms of the fun money, my husband is much more of a spender than I am due to expensive hobbies, in particular golf and collecting sports memorabilia, and he's also more into designer clothes, which is fine. It's his fun money. On the other hand, my hobbies are a lot less expensive. Running, working out, reading, baking. In general, I'm more introverted, and a great time for me is tea with a friend at one of our homes with homemade pastries. I have also been getting back into gaming lately after setting it aside for much of the past decade while building my career. After realizing I had more than enough in my fun money account, I decided to overhaul my gaming setup and got myself a new PC, desk, and gaming chair. Total cost of about $5,000. Oh yeah.
Slay.
Yeah. Did she also start playing Star Citizen? It's a little joke.
I know. I heard about it.
I got it. Yeah, you told us.
You told us like 30 minutes ago.
You told us.
However, upon hearing about the purchase, my husband is furious. He says he had no idea I had saved so much money and that I should have consulted him before spending $5,000. I asked what difference it made if it was my own accrued fund money and not our joint funds, and he insisted that my accumulating this amount without telling him was a form of financial infidelity. He says he lost trust in me and doesn't know what else I might be hiding. He is demanding that I return the items I purchased and deposit most of the funds to our joint account.
Whoa!
He wants to make a new rule that fun money accounts can't accumulate more than $2,000 and that any excess goes back to the joint account. A rule that would obviously favor him as a person who spends most of his allotment each month instead of saving up for anything bigger. I feel like I am being punished for being more of a day-to-day saver than spender. It wouldn't occur to me to demand to know how much my husband has in his fun money account or to try to micromanage what he spends it on. I wasn't hiding anything deliberately. He never asked about it until after I made the purchases. Still, maybe I should have been more transparent about my plans. So, am I the asshole? The f***? I just don't understand, look, it sounds crazy, but speaking of their situation, they make a collective $400,000 a year. They have no payments, no nothing.
Maxed out their 401k.
And he's mad that she's spending $5,000. I'm like, percentage-wise, that's not
Nothing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Also, so should she have bought each part of her gaming setup over time? Because if this guy likes designer clothes, I'm sure he has a $600 pair of shoes,
right?
$300 shirt, and it's just because he spent it over time quicker in that way rather than her just not spending like that and then dropping it. It's the math isn't mathing.
That's a weird system to have when they're in the situation that they're in.
So true.
A little bit. And I mean, I can't relate to that. Their situation's crazy.
Yeah.
They've got everything going for them.
Yeah, I can't fathom why he would be upset. Literally, you have a ton of money, no debt, you get a free house. Why would you?
Those are also set purchases that are now done. You have the setup, you
Yeah.
have everything. That's it. That's the $5,000.
gone.
There's no more that you are spending.
Yeah, she's not marriage embezzling. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
and that's also her money.
Yes.
Like
compare bank statements and you guys can both track how much you're putting in, but it's but you guys already had an agreement that your money is your money, and if you're both comfortable in your joint account, let her be her own person.
It's just a dumb system because at the end of the year, at the end of the year they look and it's oh, I spent $20,000 on fun money and oh, you spent $7,000, but you spent that $5,000 all at once. It's this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This is a weird system. It feels like it's a system that benefits him and he's trying to control it.
Right. I think he's also it might be something he's insecure about. It's whoa, she was able to save all this stuff and I don't have that. This is a problem because something.
Yeah. The verdict, not the asshole, comments, what the hell is he spending $1,500 a month on? Does he have horses? Valid. I mean, that's when you get rich, that's.
Yeah. Yeah.
OP says, no horses, but lots of golf. The golf club membership is $500 a month alone, let alone expenditures for equipment. Someone said, that's a redonk amount to spend monthly on a hobby. He is being a great big jerk to you while he spends it'll burn a hole in his pocket. I mean, I know golf is just expensive.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a country club. That makes sense, but equipment costs per month. You have the clubs.
Yeah, you should have it, and that should be set, and then you're just spending.
Again, the
Losing
math
too many
isn't
balls in the
mathing.
water.
Interesting.
The math isn't mathing.
You know what makes me nervous? He's acting with a lot of fear and intensity, and it's because in my head I'm you'd only react that way if you needed the money, but they don't need the money. But now I'm oh no, do they need the money?
Is he projecting?
Someone else said, not the asshole, financial infidelity, my ass. He is just jealous that you save enough for a nice new setup. He is being absolutely ridiculous. Do not return it and put it in the joint for him to waste. He needs the money in the joint account.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has as much money as she thinks he has. Yeah. That's my theory right
Dude, yeah, they gotta compare statements right now.
Surely there was a comment asking her what game she's playing.
Yeah. What games does she plan on streaming?
What games is she playing? What she got a $5,000 setup?
What she got on Steam?
What's she playing?
All right, got all of this. Time to play Minesweeper. All right, update number 1.
Oh boy.
8 days after the original post. This is condensed a little bit because there's a lot. My husband finally calmed down enough to have a conversation with me. As many others who provided comments suggested, it wasn't really about the money, but a window into larger issues into our relationship. Essentially, my husband has been feeling increasingly unhappy with me for a while for the following reasons. In general, he feels that he's a lot more committed to his career development than I am to mine. It's true that although we currently have about the same income, the ceiling for his field, finance, is a lot higher than the one for mine, tech/software developer. He's currently in an executive training program, and I'm decidedly not. He remarked that since getting back into gaming a few months ago, I have been putting a bit less effort into cooking. I do nearly all the cooking because I work at home and have an easier schedule. It's true that I have been fixing simpler meals, things like grilled chicken salads or chili with cornbread, instead of elaborate meals with fussier foods and several sides. He also noticed that I haven't been doing the elaborate table settings I used to, with flowers on the table, fancy placemats, etc. Honestly, I didn't realize he noticed or cared about this, but apparently he does. Acts of service are one of his main love languages, so overall he's feeling a little neglected because of this. He also feels I'm not putting enough effort into my appearance. Not in terms of weight/body. I'm a long-distance runner and slim, but in terms of things like clothes, hair, etc., it's true that I've never paid much attention to these things, given that I work at home in tech. The standard for appearance is extremely low, and I far exceed that. I tend to buy simple, practical clothes at places like Target and Walmart, don't wear much makeup, and keep my hair in a simple ponytail. I do glam up a lot more for date nights and other dressy occasions, but most days he comes home from work to find me in a t-shirt and yoga pants with no makeup, and he wants me to make more of an effort. The bottom line is that because of all these things, he's starting to notice other women. Says he hasn't cheated. He's just noticing other people because he's regularly disappointed in me. In particular, given that he works in finance, there are a good number of very career-oriented type A women who manage to have fantastic bodies, be effortlessly polished and glam, and have more interesting hobbies. He also says he feels horrible about all this because he knows I am a good person, that he's being judgmental, that it's not so much I've changed as that it's his own goals and expectations have changed in the past couple years. The financial infidelity part came into it because he feels I'm not really investing in myself and our relationship, thus cheating on our future in a sense. He also says he loves me enough to be honest. I do believe he isn't trying to be hurtful. I really had to drag all this out of him. That he doesn't want us to drift apart further, that he doesn't want to be angry and resentful, and he knows he is asking for a lot. I know that many on this sub might say I should just tell him to take a hike and call my lawyer, but we've been married for 10 years, have invested a lot in the relationship, and I want to see if the marriage can be saved.
Oh my God, that's update number 1.
Oh my
That's number
God.
1, bro.
I just want to say, it is so insane to me, like, that he's saying, and coming from a gamer, I'm going to seem biased, but golf is such a time-consuming hobby.
Yeah, bro.
It's like, I'm going out on a Sunday for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
You're putting a tiny ball in a hole? Well, I'm traveling to multiple planets, slaying monsters, and saving mankind.
Literally.
Yeah. No, golf is like a huge commitment. That is all of it. This sucks. I mean, he kind of went back. He kind of became what so many of the men in these Reddit stories are. I tell you, man, it always comes down to the cooking.
What in the world?
It always comes down to the cooking, man. It's just like, well, you're supposed to do all the cooking. I don't understand it, and like, they all seem the same
wild.
once that gets brought up.
I just can't. I also like think it's sad when you hear in a relationship like that you want your partner to like. I think that there's a level of putting effort into yourself. I agree with self-care and stuff like that. But let your partner be like face bare, chilling.
Yeah.
Like that's your real person. If you're expecting your person to embellish, then what is your lens on reality at that point?
Right.
It's so weird. It's like he's obviously using these small things as an excuse, like, because he just wants to be pampered more, and he like is, yeah, if you're not finding your wife attractive, like, you want to cheat and you want to be pampered. Like, he's literally saying, yeah, you're gaming and you're not cooking nice enough and you're not setting the table nice enough, and also you're not doing your makeup, and that's like why I'm upset with you, which is just like a completely just shitty thing to say to someone.
You know what it is with these men is that it's that they view it's like, oh, you're not serving me right. You're not who I want you to be. They're not worried about their happiness or the happiness of their relationship. It's like, yeah, but you're not good enough now. Like, I need you to do these things for me. And it's just such a selfish way of viewing it.
Like, can't people just get comfortable after a while? Like, not like the bad kind of comfortable, but like let people relax and settle into their life. Like they've both worked so hard to build this life. I've heard some stuff on TikTok about like career-driven people where it's like that is their life force and that's what they do. They're not working for the weekend. Like they are gonna work until the day they die. But like she wants to live her life and enjoy her things. And he's spending his money on designer clothes and golf, and to each their own. But like even when he has everything, he's still finding things that he's not satisfied with.
Yeah, it's like you're 33. Like, at what point? You've been married for 10 years. At what point do you get to relax? Like, and also, like him, he wants her to be Batman. Like, he wants her to be perfect at every step of the way. It's like we read plenty of stories where a partner is clearly like, okay, something is getting in the way. They are dropping the ball in somewhere. They're neglecting themselves and everything. But she is making $200K a year, and he still is like, well, what are you doing to get further than that? Like, that's a nightmare to live with forever.
It's like, so, I would get it. As a degenerate gamer, I know how bad it can get. And like the fact that she's like, oh, she buys a new gaming setup, but she's also still cooking, still working out regularly, still
full-time employee, yeah.
Full-time software developer. Like she's obviously like, it's a healthy hobby for her to be like, yeah, I want to play some games, so I got a nice computer. Like,
yeah, and we do not have enough women in tech. Let's be clear. It's great that she's there.
How dare she be content?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy.
literally. Literally.
Update number 2.
Okay.
15 days later.
15 days.
Love that movie.
The movie's so good.
Movie rocks.
15 days later. This is also condensed.
Okay.
So the more I thought about it, the more his requests, demands really, were sitting poorly with me. I decided to try a little experiment over the weekend to see what would happen if I tried to meet some of his demands. Not because I actually thought they were reasonable, but because I increasingly had the sense that the goalposts would just keep moving and that I was playing a losing game. So Saturday morning, I went to the salon for a glow up, haircut, fresh highlights, mani-pedi, then went to the farmer's market to pick up fresh flowers for our table and assorted other gourmet ingredients. Saturday is usually our date night out, but I suggested we stay in so I could make us a special dinner, steakhouse style. Lobster bisque, bread basket with several types of rolls / savory muffins made from scratch, crab stuffed mushrooms, filet mignon, au gratin potatoes, white chocolate mousse topped with raspberries. You know, shit, Trevor, you probably make that every day.
Yeah, dude.
I wore a lavender, his favorite color on me, sheath dress, and high heels and fully done hair and makeup. For all that, I got a lukewarm thanks, it was tasty, and a kiss on the cheek. Of course I did all the serving and cleanup. Afterwards, I asked if this was what he had had in mind when he critiqued me before. He said that it was a start. But that I was acting very entitled for wanting credit for basic adulting.
Bro, he needs to figure out how to do some basic adulting. Like, what kind of childish behavior? If someone made me white chocolate mousse from scratch, I would be kissing their feet.
Yeah, I'd be crying, peeing on the floor, apologizing.
How long? All of that shit probably had to take like all fucking day, if not multiple days.
Yeah, no, that's an all.
Yeah, how does she do it?
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Emily, don't do this to me.
Okay, but I will say, I love that she did that. I love that route. Would not have thought of it, and I think it was such a slay.
Dude, how hard is lobster bisque to make?
Well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, you got to make a whole lobster stock, you know? Like, that's not, it's a time-consuming thing.
I'm dead.
Holy shit. He said that it was a start, but that I was acting very entitled for wanting credit for basic adulting. Basic adulting, like lobster bisque. He then dropped a bomb that he was being so hard on me because he had realized lately I had a lot to make up for due to my being a low-value woman. Yep. He works in finance.
Dude, no, you know what happened? You know what happened? Oh my God. You know what happened is this guy was like a normal dude and was content, and then Andrew Tate
Yeah.
He saw an Andrew
Yeah,
Tate video
dude, he
on
found the
Twitter.
wrong podcast,
Yeah.
didn't he? Oh no. Okay, okay.
Low value
Okay.
woman.
We're not even done, are we? Okay.
Okay, so make up for my being a low value woman. I asked what on earth he meant by that, and he said it was because I wasn't a virgin when we met. What?
Oh my god.
I didn't think that my mind could be blown from there, but oh wow, that's.
Oh my god. Huh?
Dude, this guy went to Top G University. This guy went
all
to
of the
Hustler
crew,
University.
all of the crew in this room is just losing it.
Oh my god. I done lost my dang shoe. That's so crazy.
I look over and see Luke just like this.
Dude.
Just
God.
Okay.
God, we're on a roller coaster. Okay.
Keep in mind, we started dating at 21. Neither of us claimed to be virgins or stated that as an expectation. Except for very religious people, neither of us is. I don't think most 21-year-old college students are virgins. Right, yeah. Anyways. Just kidding. Right, yeah, I was upfront with him then that I'd had 2 previous partners, my high school boyfriend, we went our separate ways when we went to different colleges in different parts of the country, and another boyfriend I'd had my first year of college. And that's it. Both committed relationships and nothing casual. He then went on to say that because of my low value, I was going to need to be making it up to him for the rest of my life. That I didn't deserve monogamy or equal treatment, and that I was lucky that anyone at all wanted to marry me, and that he's connected with someone from work, so if I wanted to keep him, I'd better step up.
Holy shit.
I told him it didn't sound like there was anything to keep if he no longer loved me, or even liked or respected me. Told him to leave, and he said he would gladly go to his girlfriend's place.
Oh!
No.
Anyway, I have taken the week off from work to get my head together. Have an appointment with a lawyer tomorrow. Canceled the marriage counseling appointment, but got a referral to an individual therapist who can do an intake session with me later in the week. He and the girlfriend apparently are coming this evening to get more of his clothes and things, so I have to brace myself for that.
my God.
Also, please be assured I do not think I am a low value woman in any way. I let my husband make me think less of myself in some levels for a short time, but now I truly see it was a him problem. Obviously, we don't share the same goals and values, and he has become someone I don't recognize. I know the divorce won't be fun or easy, but I will be okay. Thank you all for helping me see that I was being played before I wasted too much more time in a marriage that was already over.
Oh my god.
Damn, dude.
Well, since he admitted to cheating, maybe she can screw him over in the court. You know?
Yeah, get him. It doesn't. She's gonna be fine regardless. I mean, that's insane.
I cannot believe that.
This is what happens when you get a gamer chair.
This is what happens.
This is what happens, you know.
Oh my God.
It really does highlight though that for this mindset, the manosphere type of stuff, there's, and I think it's important for men to realize this if they're thinking this way. It's like, you know, there's no like happiness. That the message is that nothing is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
That you're just gonna keep on fucking your life up over and over and over. You are going to end up alone because you will make sure of it.
I also just, it's so clear it's like not, it's so not equal in his mind because it's like, what does he offer?
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, he's got this executive training program, but like, she's been a boss bitch this whole time. Was he a virgin when they started?
I don't think he was. It's
just like men.
Neither of us claim to be virgins.
Men like that, like, they're like, I don't have to do all that stuff because I'm a man. You have to be all these things for me because I'm a man. And it's like,
Here's the reality. She now has her own life. She's gonna kick that guy out. And now she's got the sickest gaming setup of all time.
and it's her grandma's house. So she gets to keep her
Hey.
house.
If you're out there watching, don't play League of Legends. Don't play Valorant. Don't play Overwatch. Play fun games. Don't play competitive multiplayer games. You're gonna be just fine.
Oh, dude, what if she gets into Dark Souls?
That's awesome.
That'd be a game to let your rage out.
I will say, it's funny that when she started doing like simpler dinners, it sounded like all the stuff you can make in Sims. chili.
I like how her simpler
salad.
dinners are like me, like doing something that I think is cool.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, you made chili as like a simple dinner.
Yeah. And what they've been together, she said she's in her like early mid 30s.
Yeah, she's 33.
She's gonna be fine.
Yeah, she's totally. They had the perfect setup. No, he fumbled the biggest bag of all time.
He's a fool.
He is a fool. Next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to meet my boyfriend's friends unless they apologize to me? Okay. A couple of weeks ago, this is a 24-year-old woman. My boyfriend, who's 27, friends found a Tinder account with my pictures on it and matched with it. I have not met my boyfriend's friends yet, but they know what I look like because my boyfriend showed them pictures. They showed my boyfriend the account, and my boyfriend called me immediately to tell me about it. I haven't used Tinder in over a year, and Tinder is supposed to delete inactive accounts after 7 days, so I knew it wasn't mine. His friend also messaged with the account that weekend, but I was with my boyfriend watching a movie at that exact time, so my boyfriend didn't really believe the account was mine either. But his friends weren't convinced that I wasn't cheating. I could hear them yelling things through the phone like, "Make that bitch prove herself. Your girlfriend is a whore," along with other really degrading names.
I hate that.
My boyfriend told them to shut up as I was on the verge of tears. I went on FaceTime with all of them while the friend messaged the account. They made me show my hands and my phone on video call, the video call the whole time. The catfisher messaged back and I was proven innocent. None of them apologized to me. They only apologized to my boyfriend, which felt even more disrespectful. Apparently those friends are hosting a party this weekend and my boyfriend wants me to meet the group for the first time. But I don't want anything to do with them until they apologize to me for calling me names. My boyfriend understands, but also says that it would mean a lot if I could at least give his friends another chance, since they were actually just doing their best to support him. He has been cheated on in the past. Would I be the asshole if I refused?
You still don't call a woman a whore and
Yeah,
like a bitch.
I think like
This makes me mad.
It'd be one thing if they were just like, "Hey man, like
I'm mad.
We're concerned for you. I don't know if I trust her, whatever." This shows that he's friends with a bunch of misogynistic people.
Yeah. Like,
and so
hey.
he by proxy probably is.
Yeah.
You're a whore. Put your hands up. What?
Put your hands up.
Put your hands up. That's what they said.
No, they
Made her hold her hands up as they DM'd the account.
Yes,
what
they
the?
made her
It was a full body slate.
That
actor joke.
willing to shave? You're out of control. You have way too many jokes sitting in the driveway, eh?
It's just
Turn that engine off,
So
baby.
that sucks.
That makes me really mad because the fact that just shows that he's not going to support her in a time of need.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I also get. I have personal things with like I feel like in my dating history, when your partner like gets like protective of their friends, when their friends are kind of being like I've never had something like that disrespectful, but when they're just like, it would mean a lot if you just let that slide, or it would mean a lot if you were still friends, if you were friends with my friends. And like, I just think I get it, and friends mean a lot to people, but like when they do something as blatantly disrespectful to a woman like that, bro, the lines are pretty clear.
And manipulative too.
Yeah, they've been dating for like a little over a year, it sounds like, because she hasn't used Tinder in over a year.
Cut that shit down.
So we have some comments here. The verdict was not she wouldn't be an asshole for if she refused to go see his friends.
Correct.
Someone said, "Not the asshole, stand your ground. You humored them and went so far as to prove you were innocent. The least they can do is apologize. Red flag that your boyfriend doesn't think they owe you an apology." Someone else said, "What the f***? Time to dump the boyfriend and his buddies. Not the asshole, but you're the asshole to yourself if you stay and continue to put up with these misogynistic, degrading tests of loyalty." Yeah, I fully agree.
I'd say like maybe just don't go to the hang. Just give it a bit.
Yeah, or just be like, I don't feel comfortable going to the hang after they called me a whore.
And they didn't apologize.
Like, a bunch of dudes were like, "You fucking whore." I'd be like, "Cool, I'm not coming over for a barbecue."
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Also, look, my advice from earlier, she's 24. I'm just like, dude,
Walk away.
that's that big of a red flag?
Walk away.
Walk away.
Walk away, man.
Walk away, man. I'm just a believer in that. I am.
Yeah.
Walk away.
But if people disagree, that's okay. So there's an update.
Ooh.
Update on this one. We've got a lot of updates today, I think.
These are so good.
So much crazy shit has happened, and I've just been trying to process it all. I don't even think y'all are going to believe what went down. Wow. After reading through the comments on my last post, I told my boyfriend again that I was not going to the party because I felt disrespected by his friends and was disappointed that he did nothing to stand up for me. My boyfriend apologized to me and made it up by spending the weekend with me at my place instead of going to the party. He told me that after he quit his job, he would not contact any of his friends who refused to apologize to me. None of them did. His apology seemed genuine, and him not going to the party convinced me that everything was good, so I didn't break up with him. Flash forward to a few days ago. My boyfriend and I were laying together in bed. He was on his phone, messaging some of his friends while I was watching TikToks. At one point, I glanced at his phone while he was scrolling through his texts and saw that he had sent a bunch of screenshots of my pictures from Instagram to someone. Even from far away, I could tell that they were pictures of me. I didn't think much of it and even thought, aw, he's showing his friends what I look like. I was so dumb. So before we went to sleep, I jokingly asked him, hey, why were you sending my Instagram pictures to your friends? He went white and there was so much panic on his face. I immediately knew something was up and made him explain. Apparently, he sent my Instagram pictures to his friends so that they could make a fake Tinder account to see if I was really cheating on him because he had been cheated on in the past. He felt so insecure in our relationship that he wanted to make sure I didn't have any dating apps or was doing anything shady behind his back. He thought the confrontation would scare me into a real confession. But he didn't want to seem like the bad guy with major trust issues, which is what he is, so he had his friends confront me for him while he pretended to be on my side the whole time. They saw my reaction to it all. I was literally on the verge of tears the entire call and did not confess to anything they accused me of, and they decided to play it off as a catfish. So congrats to those of you in the comments who guessed right. The friends made the fake account. I didn't believe it at first because I had no evidence and I hate making false assumptions about people. Ironic, isn't it? I also thought that they had no way to get pictures of me since my Instagram is private. But how the fuck was I supposed to know my own boyfriend was providing them to frame me? Needless to say, I dumped his ass. He cried the whole time, which was admittedly satisfying to watch, but also painful. Thanks for all the support. Wish me luck in therapy. Whoa.
Wait.
So he was still.
I'm confused.
He was still making up to it.
He was
That's
sending
what's
stuff.
even weirder.
So the Tinder account at the beginning.
Yeah.
That she was like, they saw that he came and he's like, hey, there's this Tinder, or the friends were like, hey, we found a Tinder account.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend has. They made it.
Why?
The friends made it.
Why?
To test. They wanted to see if the boyfriend the boyfriend masterminded it. He had been cheated on in the past, so he wanted his friends to create a fake Tinder account with photos of her, to then confront her with it so that she would go, okay, yeah, I'm cheating on you.
Yeah.
But she wasn't, so they had this big elaborate plan to make her come clean. That obviously wasn't real.
What a psycho!
Yeah, she's going to therapy now, which is great, and he could have done that in the first place.
And he's going to hell.
It's crazy to me. Like, when you get to that point, it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in a relationship. Maybe I'm not ready for this. Maybe I should go talk to a therapist for a while and work through this.
Yeah.
And then.
Does his friends have girlfriends? That's what I want to know.
Dude, if someone came to me and was like, hey, we're going to do this whole thing, I'd be like, no, man, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
Or if they're
That's
like,
a lot.
hey, we figured out a way to find everyone cheating because we believe in a world where everyone's freaking cheating. And
That's
all
right.
women are whores.
20.
And this is what we do. We create fake accounts so then we catch them in the act because basically everybody's cheating. I'd be like, oh no, you're all hurt.
Oh, wounded.
Thanks to fake Tinder, my wife divorced me.
We call it.
Yeah. What?
Oh
Yeah,
no.
that's
They're
nuts.
also hurt, it feels like.
Thank
because
God she ended that. Like, can you imagine if she got married and the shit he would come up with?
I'm so glad a lot of these people are like discovering and like walking away from these relationships. And like I'm also a believer in like when you have that level of suspicion, it's like, oh, I need to work on this, or like this relationship won't work. Like when you're at that level of suspicion, it's not working. Like something's got to give.
And his friends aren't healthy.
If he continues with this framework, he's never going to end up in a successful relationship. He's never going to trust anyone again.
But this is also like what they say about like manifesting when they were like, when you're so scared of bad things happening that you're always saying the bad thing happening. He's making the bad thing happening.
His paranoia is ruining his relationships. He needs to go to therapy. He needs to like be real with himself and be like, oh, I have trust issues. I should work through that.